On view this afternoon, of course, it's the West Coast Eagles taking on Carlton, the Blue Baggers. Harvey, how you going, Squire? How you going? What's happening over there? A big match here today. Of course, the Eagles taking on Carlton. Carlton need to win for their chance to play finals this year. Of course, West Coast playing at home. They want to upset the Blue Baggers. Let's have a look at the ins and outs. For the Eagles, we've got Edwards coming in. Petricelli coming in. Of course, the outs are Merrick and Hall. The subs, Petricelli. The milestone games there. Jamie Cripps, 250th game there for the Eagles. Well done to you. And, of course, the ins for Carlton. Young, Moyer, Binns, Lord, Durden, Carroll. A lot of ins. Outs going. Sard, Mackay, Martin, Fogarty, Curnow, Boyd. Wowee, that's some big outs there. This is why West Coast Eagles have come into this game as favourites today. So that'll be very interesting to see whether Carlton can actually get the job done. That is something we're going to see. Let's have a look at the lineups. There are the lineups right there. I'm just trying to adjust this, folks, so everyone gets a little bit better view. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I will check that in just a moment to see whether that's a little bit better. Let me just tilt that down a little bit. Try to get that straight, lined up for everyone. That's good. West Coast Eagles, Witherden, Edwards, Hoff are the full backs. Duggan, McGovern, Hunt. The centres, Gaff, Kelly, Gimman, the half forwards, Cripps, Waterman, Diwa, and of course the forwards are Darling, Allen, Ryan, followers Williams, Yeo and Reed. There we go. For Carlton, full backs are Kemp, Wiedering, Cohen, Young, McGovern, Newman of the half backs. The centres, Hollands, Cripps, Aikes, and of course the half forwards are Sincotta, Hollands, Williams, Owies, Kennedy, Motlop are the forwards. The followers are Pinnock, Walsh and Hewitt. Should be a good game coming up today. Let me just stick that over there for the moment. Let's just have a look at the ladder and where they sit. Of course, Carlton here sitting in 9th spot, so they need a victory today. Let me just adjust that a little bit. Try and bring that down so it's a little bit straighter for everybody. How's that looking? Is that looking a bit better? There we go. I tell you what, it takes a bit, folks. It takes a bit. But Carlton are sitting 9th. Of course, with Hawthorn leading the way there, looking set for victory. And the Western Bulldogs had a big win today over North Melbourne. They move up on the ladder to 52 points, but Carlton down here on 48. They need a victory today, and they'll leapfrog to 8th spot unless they have a big win and gain 3.2% to jump over Hawthorn. But I'm sure Hawthorn's percentage is going to continue to grow, and that'll knock Fremantle out of the top 8, and then it's a race next week for who's going to be in the top 8. Margie TV, hey, how you going? How you going? I'm in both. I'm in this one, and I'm over at Teenage Live as well. Santa, all good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for popping in to say hello. But there we go. That is what's happening here with the Blue Baggers. There's no question they cannot lose this game today if they want to play finals football and make sure they are in with a chance. Let me just try and let me see if the worm's up yet. Not quite up yet, but we will leave that there. As I said, the Eagles going in as favourite at 177. The Blues 203. Underdogs. I think that's due to all the big outs that they have. The Blues, and of course West Coast have been in, well, not too bad a form, even though their ladder position doesn't suggest that, but they're still in reasonably good form. And as I said, they're playing at home today, so that's going to be a big help to them. And I expect a close game today. It should be a ripper. We're only about 6.5 minutes away, 7 minutes away before we have the bounce of the ball to the first quarter. So I might just take us down to the commentators as they have a little bit of a chit chat prior to the bounce of the first quarter.
And now knowns that they might throw at us, we just got to be prepared for it.
Last one, mate. Andrew Gaff, Jamie Cripps, some milestones for those two boys. Incredibly important to this footy club.
Definitely. Crib at 250 total AFL games. And Andrew Gaff has been well documented. Plays his 280, 300 total. Legacy player. We know we see his courage with his running. Saw his courage last week going with the fly of the ball. And hopefully we get the best of both worlds today and we send him off in the right way.
Good luck today.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Matthew Pavlich, some pretty exciting matchups as we look across the field. And Jacob Wiedering beat Oscar Allen. Is that one you're expecting and licking your lips at?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. We talked about Jeremy McGovern's influence on games. Well, this guy is one of the premier defenders, key defenders in the competition, and Oscar Allen or Jake Waterman, I think they'll probably switch and match a little bit depending on how high the key forwards of the Eagles play. But he's such an important player today. Of course, it's been much written about how many players Carlton have out, but if someone like a Jacob Wiedering and their skipper Patrick Cripps can stand up, so important to the Blues going on to win this game of footy here this afternoon.
You look at Patrick Cripps and he told you how much he looks forward to coming home to Perth and playing in front of family and friends. You just get the sense he's up for a big game, knowing what's on the line as well, and maybe having watched a few of the Brownlow fancies collect 3 votes over the weekend.
This guy's been on fire most of the year, but particularly since round 15. He averages 17 contested possessions and 10 clearances. That is just off the charts good. And I tell you what, the captain, he was steely when I spoke to him pre-match. You could just sense he wanted to really get himself into the match early and lead this Carlton team to victory.
He's probably interested to see Harley Reid up close and personal too, and see what this young kid's all about. He's the reason so many fans come to the game now. Just the excitement around him all year.
No, it's been incredible to watch, hasn't it, firsthand. 51 broken tackles this season. He gives away a few free kicks. A lot of them are for holding the ball, so he might have to get that balance right, but no one here in the stadium is worrying about that. They just want to see Harley light it up and see if he can continue his form. But the Eagles' great form over the past 2 weeks. Can they make it 3 matches in a row? I think he'll go a long way to saying what happens in that battle.
Would you say anything to him as if you were his captain, Harley Reid?
Yeah, I think there's times where he's under immense pressure, where a first little give in terms of some of those free kicks. But I would say keep taking the game on, because you can bring other teammates into the game. The way he plays, he's a contested player, and then that brings other heat, so then you can dish it off to players in better positions. But I'd also say to him, nothing wrong with kicking him from outside 50 or 60, because he can do that as well.
Well, I was just about to say settle in like the Eagles coach Jared Schofield, but he's now up and about. But settle in at home. This is a massive game to conclude what has been another crazy round of football. It is the Eagles and the Blues coming up next.
down to today. Carlton win. They're in the 8 with a round to play. But they're out of the 8 right now. And that's what it means for West Coast as well. And for Jared Schofield, they've had back-to-back victories. But for Michael Voss, third season as Carlton coach. He was at the Lions as coach for 5 seasons. He's going to have to reach deep into his trick bag, given their injuries this afternoon. But it is doable in perfect conditions. Andrew Gaff, in the final game of his career, gained 280 at the toss with the WA boy Patrick Cripps, who might be in line for another Brownlow this year. So many storylines. Andrew Gaff, obviously, arguably the biggest of the storylines for the locals, given that he has been one of their true champions, 2015 best and fairest, 2-time All-Australian. And the true testament of the greatness of a footy club is how you send out your champions. They did it magnificently a couple of weeks ago with their premiership coach, and they're doing it again this afternoon. It's been a beautiful thing to witness the players getting together for Andrew Gaff. As I welcome to the commentary Adam Papalia. Good to have you, Paps.
Yeah, great to be here, Dwayne, and looking forward to this one. Obviously, the Blues, their season on the line, so many injuries, they need to find a way to fight through it. And for West Coast, as you mentioned, Andrew Gaff, game 280, and his 300th official AFL match, given that he played 18 pre-season matches, one state match for Victoria and an international rules clash as well, so he gets that life membership to the AFL with the 300th match notched up. Will Schofield, Andrew Gaff, how would he be feeling right now? He's been so consistent over his career.
Yeah, he's not a nervous type, Gaffy. Just be looking to get out there. He's starting on the wing, which is a familiar spot for him as well, so he's a runner and a worker, and he'll continue to do that right through to his very last game, which looks like it's today.
Last home game, there's Cripps and Harley Reid. How good is that matchup to start? That'll be box office to watch this afternoon. And Reid will certainly be setting himself to go with Patrick Cripps as an absolute superstar of the game. As we're underway at the bounce, there was a hold going on, so it'll go the way of the Blues, and quickly Cripps is onto it, and he'll thump it long inside 50. McGovern for the Eagles, well placed to fist that ball away into the forward pocket. Duggan left it behind. Williams able to gather for the Blues. They love the first one. Great centering kick, and Kemp takes on.
Oh, Scully, you and I were just looking at each other because Kemp's the one that's gone forward and is basically trying to stop the influence of Jeremy McGovern. He made a pretty good contest to start and then found a really dangerous position.
Well, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because McGovern, you usually see him take those balls. He went the spoil with that and then doesn't find his opponent, who sneaks clear.
A smart play, just dropped it into space.
Saw him warming up with the forwards, Brodie Kemp. He's only got 2 goals through his career, so they had to shuffle the magnets. They had to find someone else to fill in up front with no Mackay or Curnow, but he just cannot get them off to the dream start.
And I think it's a good matchup as well because he is good in the air, Kemp, and will certainly make life difficult for that man on screen.
So McGovern with the kick in, the Jeremy variety, little brother out there. Of course, 2 Cripps, 2 Hollands, 2 McGoverns, and 3 Williams out there this afternoon as Witherden goes to Gaff and he gets a round of applause. Let's soak that in. Short to Hoff. Game 280 for Andrew Gaff. Top 5 all time for the Eagles. Out wide. Harry Edwards back into the lineup. He and Petruccelli back in. Petruccelli as the sub this afternoon. That's a wobbly kick turnover, not what they were after. And they're attacking early. The Blues inside kick to Cripps, who looks around to see what's on offer. Plants his foot into it. Central, over the head of Kemp. The dive, Williams held up, and he didn't dive on it. He kind of dived to mark it, even though he dived on it, and he gets cut some slack.
He's looking threatening, Kemp. Nice little lead there.
Just over his head it was. Zach Williams couldn't take it. Ricochets away to Jaden Hunt, who is held up. The Blues, a few inside 50s to start. They'd love the first goal of the game. Missing so many of their stars. They want a good start on the road. Zach Williams threw the boot at it. Jaden Hunt with a kick out to the defensive 50, and the mark is intercepted. Akers, he's a long kick of the footy too.
This will be interesting to see what the breeze does because it is going hard right to left if you're at home there, but down at ground level, Sco, this is where we
right here.
Feels like it's actually behind you.
Yeah. Kind of swirls around inside Optus Stadium as he just pulls the kick in short, and make a mistake for everyone. For the Blues there, they weren't quite on the same wavelength. Should be able to intercept and then get it to Ryan. Up the wing they go. Darling has to back. Won't let his man go. Some overlap run. Andrew Gaff cruising the wing, as we've seen so many times through 280 games. Kick up towards Waterman. Blues defence do well. Mitch McGovern got it down. Cowan away. Chicotta round the body. It's touched off the boot. And it will roll its way out of play.
Well, Wiedering looks to have the job on Allen and Mitch McGovern on Waterman, so a couple of big matchups in front of the footy for West Coast, and Carlton have opted to keep Mitch McGovern behind the footy.
They sort of have to, don't they?
Yep.
When we've got Darling, Allen and also Waterman down there.
Pitternet and Bailey Williams. Pitternet works his way to the front, but Williams got the palm. Pitternet got the share and gave it to Cripps, and they're out. Batman to Robin. They'll need both Cripps and Walsh firing the Blues. Kennedy over the top. Nice loop. Akers hassled off it by Harley. Caught by Williams. Slung 360. Got away with it. Ball in. Gee, the crowd's going off early. It's a beautiful sound. Well, it was a lot of work right here from Blake Akers, and then Harley Reid was able to match it. Gets the hand ball away. He would have been holding the ball in the end if he couldn't.
Final home game of the season for the Eagles. They're shooting for 3 wins in a row under Jared Schofield. Bailey Williams with a hit out down. Cripps got it away. Cowan quickly on the boot. He'll scrap for the footy into the hot spot. Jeremy McGovern couldn't take it. Zach Williams overran it. Eagles can mop it up. Jaden Hunt away to Duggan. And out of defence they go to Dewar.
He did really well then, Dewar. He saw where the ball was heading and he just took off. He was the one that had to be one of the first breakers out to that open side.
Found some space in the sunshine. And he goes short to Hoff. Out to Kelly. West Coast have really not had it much forward of centre at all.
Yeah, they're really well structured behind the ball at the moment. Nick Newman's the one that's directing traffic.
Kelly's kick poor. Motlop got a hand on it. Elijah Hollins goes wide. Not able to be completed there by Owies. Eagles a chance to win it back. Carlton still continue to press. Close to the boundary line. Really is just overwhelmed in the end. And they're able to get it out of there. Elijah Hollins away to Hewitt, forward to Cripps with strength to Walsh, fed it inboard. Kennedy, great chain of handballs. The finish not quite there, but Akers on the goal line. We'll get it checked. Looked like he was just inside.
They need some reward for effort here, don't they, the Blues, as this one gets checked.
Wait for the score review. Check. Yep. Score review. Umpire's calls a mark. Please confirm what's his review underway.
So as we have a look at that, so it's 4 inside 50s to 1. All the plays been really right of screen. They just haven't been able to connect.
And West Coast are playing a kick mark game as well. So even though they have been winning it back, they're not going
looking at
fast.
these angles, we can see the ball's controlled before crossing the back of the behind line. Decision on the scoreboard.
There's a little bobble in the hands, but certainly had it controlled before he went completely over Blake Akers, and now can have a shot from a very tight angle. Knows the ground well from his time at Fremantle. In the pocket, he'll step out, snap off the left, and it goes right across the face. It only just sneaks in 4 behind. Blues doing most of the attacking 2 behinds to start this one.
Would you get the left foot snap? I know you probably didn't have any opportunities.
Would
left
you?
foot snap or the check side?
I would have. I'd probably passed it, Pat. What would you have done?
I think the check side.
It's really harsh of you, Pav, when you really think about it. One of the greatest goal kickers of all time. Asking that question of Will Schofield, who Jared's been coaching that well. Will's been on Ancestry.com all week trying to look for a link this week. That's how well Jared's going. Great to have Will in the commentary with Matthew Pavlich, Adam Papalia and Kath Blockman. There is Jared Schofield, 6th game as coach. Won the past 2 against the Suns and North Melbourne. Hasn't said that he wants the job, but playing hard to get. That's the oldest trick in the book. Reid gets it. And was he caught high? I said yes. A lot of free kicks against last week, Harley Reid. I think he equalled maybe the all-time record potentially in the game. Carl Langdon felt like he held that. It could have just been a West Coast record.
Likely name to have held it.
Yes.
It's away by Reid with a thumping kick inside 50. Lots underneath it. Sunshine into the eyes as they try to take the mark. Cowan, it's a clearing kick. Didn't clear far enough. Jaden Hunt will try to find a target inside 50. He'll build up this time from the Eagles as he goes to space in the pocket. Again, tough one to try to mark. Hoffa drifted down there. Carlton desperate in defence. Wiedering tackled and we'll get a ball
It's
up.
not where the coach would have liked that ball, but it actually ended up in a dangerous position. I say the coach don't like it there because it does open yourself up on the open side.
Hey, Williams down. Ryan was looking for high contact, but it will be a ball up.
This coach is like it a bit skinnier so you can defend behind it. And when I say skinnier, so to the near point post, but it'll be a dangerous play.
Ryan from the stoppage. Fresh air swing. Kick a goal. Get another stoppage inside 50.
Yeah, the repeat stoppages. We've seen this from both sides now. Now West Coast is set up well behind the footy.
Get the clearance in tight. Into there, lost it. Bulge down low. Eagles pressure good. Reed just trying to push the pack right over as he crashed in.
Big going on between he and Patrick Cripps. Great to see Cripps has started on fire. Already had the 5 disposals, but that's a match up to enjoy this afternoon.
The youngster has not taken a backward step at all. Spills across. Jack Williams on the boot, and he's missed. Half chance there for the Eagles.
I like the fact he's in the side. Scully, Jack Williams, he's got a lot of potential, a lot of upside. Yes, he's got to build his body and build his form, but what you see regularly enough, just even that little bit, it's not all about kick and mark. You can have to go in other ways as well.
Mitch McGovern releases Newman on the run. Hit him lace out. Runs the wing, heads toward Owies. Brilliant transition from the Blues. They can go coast to coast against the coast here. If Owies finishes. Wow, what about that? 2 kicks. That is pinpoint accuracy from Carlton, and that's how they'd like to move it on the fat side of the ground. They open it right up. Saw the breeze moving the hair of a few players so far in this opening quarter. Been a little tricky. He gets a boo or 2. That's what he's got ahead of him. For coast to coast. He bends it back. Can he get it home? Goal line. Williams. And they don't have the tall timber down there, Carlton. No Blue Mountains for them this afternoon. No Curnow, no De Koning, no Mackay.
Bail them out on the goal line as the kick goes out towards Allen, who was nudged underneath it. Good intercept by Wiedering, but no, free kick.
Yeah,
There was a push there.
The double action in the end. He got there early, which is usually the telltale, but he just gave a bit of a shove as he went for the mark.
Allen short to Cole. Himself into a little trouble. Didn't see Akers there as they dangerously handball back, but it's in the hands of Jeremy McGovern. Waits the kick. Jayden Hunt had to commit. He did well to take the mark. Lewis was bearing down. Kick out wide from Jayden Hunt. Fights Cripps. Jamie's got it. Game number 250 for Jamie Cripps. Loves to set things up for his team, and that's nice delivery. He finds Waterman in the forward pocket. Jamie Cripps, 16 goal assists. He's had an incredible career, both kicking goals, 6 all-time at West Coast, but he's second at goal assists all-time at the Eagles as well, just behind Luke Shuey, which a midfielder compared to another forward, it goes at a pretty good strike rate.
He's been such a good player, Jamie Cripps, for such a long period of time. A lot of unrewarded running.
Jake Waterman, been a man in form this season. To notch the half-century, the kick is close, it's home, and it's 50 goals in the season for Jake Waterman.
I think Jake Waterman read that beautifully in terms of his shot and goal. Let's have a look at how he got free, though, because it was a nice switch of play from the Eagles, and then it was just a handover between the Carlton defenders, Young and McGovern. McGovern says, he's back to the ball, and Waterman says, thank you very much. I'll just slot in that space behind you, and smart play from Cripps to not just bomb away, to find a lead with a 15-20 metre kick. And this is why I say it was a smart kick, because there's plenty of wind out there, but he's just kept it low.
Feels like the space is behind you with McGovern playing in front, but the timing and connection between Cripps and Waterman, who've played a lot of footy together, that hit up forward, you always want that. And have a look at that, Jake Waterman into 4th place in the Coleman medal.
Good chance, Charlie Curnow, second on that list, won't play next week. From the restart, Pettinet ripped it out of the air. Jack Williams for company, couldn't find a target with a flick over handball. Had the first game of Cooper Lord in there trying to grab it for him. Good tackle on Newman. Given an eternity. Noise of affirmation was loud. Jamie Cripps asking the question, and fair enough too. Great forward pressure from Cripps. So sets up that last goal and then he's right back into the next play.
Penalty again, fighting the fight. Newman, Chincotta, fake to go. Thought about Walsh. Goes wider. And the hold is going to Jack Carroll.
It was on Dewar, just a bit of an arm. So it's a down the field free kick.
Jack Carroll, game 20. Thumps it again. They don't have the tall timber down there. That's got to make it tough. They got the crummers though. Kemp gave the free kick away. And that's going to be the problem. They're going to manhandle the tall defenders, including Harry Edwards, in for game 38.
That can't be the kick inside 50 for Carlton. Harry Edwards, although hasn't played the footy, Jeremy McGovern has, very good aerially. So they're going to have to find their way through, connect a little bit closer to the 50 line and try to chisel one in.
It's not that deep, so it's, they're sort of hitting maybe 35, 40 metres out from goal. You've got to get inside 30 if you're going to win that kick.
Off-long kick up the wing. All off hands, not through by Young. Yo over to Gatter. They break out the front, flicked on by Waterman. Away to Cripps, looking to set them up again, but they all slip over in that same spot. Allen and Wiedering. And get it back. Newman away to Elijah Hollands. Now to a one-on-one. Important kick. Gaff slipped over. Akers stood tall.
It's slippery out there, and a couple of almost the half-forward flanks on this near side. It's very slippery. Lots of rain here in Perth this week, and of course the Wallabies were here last night against South Africa. The ground's actually in pretty good condition.
Knocked down well by Duggan. And Jingby rolled back underneath him rather than him jumping on top of it, so it'll be a ball up. It's about 46 mil of rain or something over the last couple of days.
The ground has come up in pretty good nick. There's the pocket we were just talking about, but it's around this side where the ball is right now on the half-foot flanks or it's worse.
Jack Williams just blasts the ball forward and it bounces away and out of play. It's such an interesting scenario this afternoon. The Blues must win to try to keep their spot in the top 8. A lot of clubs around that area, particularly Fremantle, crosstown rivals of West Coast. There'll be a lot of Dockers fans today just feeling a little bit sick about having to cheer for West Coast to get the win so they can stay in the 8.
I haven't seen too many Dockers fans in the crowd.
All spun back in.
Plenty tuning in, I'm sure. Plenty tuning in. The machinations this year, we talk about it week in, week out, but it's such a topsy-turvy year. Every game, there's so much on the line.
Cripps with strength. Kennedy couldn't take it. Darling in there. Ryan committed. No there too. Tackle made on Lord. He's making his debut today. Mid-season draftee. Getting an opportunity. So many out for Carlton. Cripps in there. He's locked up as well.
Representatives jumper. The two of them, Cooper Lord and Ashton Boyer, the debutantes by David Rees-Jones and the great Stephen Kernahan pre-game here. Jack Williams knocks it out. Walsh fights the fight. Got up to Ollie Hollands, kick smothered. Dewar got it back. Ryan around the body, got a good snap on it and rolls through for and behind on the arm of Mitch McGowan. But they're doing everything right at the moment. The Eagles, they've got Carlton on the ropes early.
Well, they're committing a lot of numbers to these defensive 50 stoppages, Carlton, which is meaning they need to spread the ground back out in these opportunities.
Long ball out of defence. Kennedy competing in the air. Ball spills away. Wilson trying to lay the tackle. Fed inboard by Kennedy. Chincotta on the boot. He's touched off the boot. The Blues get the run of it. Kemp, that makes you forward today, trying to run away from Jeremy McGovern. Did well to tackle and not infringe. Jaden Hunt gets it to Kelly. Jeremy McGovern, and they work it out, the Eagles, with the extra number. And Edwards will spot up with it. Looking composed under the pressure. Gaff with a little bounce as he gets the run going. Yo now, back to Gaff, getting amongst the possessions. Feeds it back to Yo. The handball generates the long entry, and it's Waterman who's out the back. Was there front on contact? There was from Young. The free kick will go to Waterman, and he can line up his second.
I really thought Young had done enough there to get his eyes back on the footy and forward to see on the replay. Just a bit of time on, but yeah, it's a typical one where you're a defender coming back with a fight, you're one-on-one, you need to try and get your eyes back on the ball. I thought he'd done enough there, Young.
The goal in every game he's played. Just a couple of times from this spot before, but not this year. Not when you're in career best form for Jake Waterman.
So this was set up by use of hands on this close wing. Andrew Gaff involved. He's been pretty involved all day today, but these two handballs here breaks the line, and it means that Jake Waterman, who's playing behind his opponent, that gets in a kickable position. I don't think it's the chop in the arm, maybe, but so he's looking at the man, looking at the ball.
He's got him high, maybe across that left arm. I think the umpire's entitled to pay that one. That's a touch and go one. You can see them both paid either way.
So an interesting way this game's going. Carlton's trying to play slingshot footy and going quick and get West Coast out the back, but McGovern stops it at this end. And then West Coast are trying to use their hands to eat up that spare number that Carlton's working behind the footy.
Carlton's lost their last 3 games coming in. They've lost 5 of their last 6 and lost a bit of confidence. Cripps gave it off to Hewitt and they get some confidence back. Short pass wasn't good. Hoff got there, read the eyes, and then read the Sharon. Hard the other way, Cole. Wrapped up brilliantly. And we'll get another ball up. They're up and about, the Eagles.
They are, and they're even in the clearance and the tackle numbers right now. So Patrick Cripps has gone into the ruck and there's a free kick paid against.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's a makeshift ruck, and he thought that was his free and it was given against. Young knocks it down. Ryan ran into a high from Wiedering. Umpire said no. Put the whistle away there, even though the crowd was screaming for it. And we'll get a ball up in the bright sunshine.
I'm sure that's what exactly Jared Schofield and his coaching staff talked about pre-game. The centre clearance and the midfield dominance of Carlton's the key.
Kelly, quick hands, as was Ryan. Jim Cotter made it tough. Able to get it out of there. Good kick out to half-back, but it's knocked away from Hoff. Well done by Durden. We see it out of play.
We know that the midfield is where this game's won and lost. To both sides committing a lot of numbers, so we're seeing big gaps between where the stoppage is and where the deepest forwards are. It's a real chess battle at the moment.
Didn't really want Cripps in the ruck, so Kennedy now has to take it. And it's away with True. A good pick-up, gather, and a long kick towards Allen. Test of strength. Wiedering was good. Blues have some numbers. Willie Hollands get the cool head. Under the pump, kick to half-back. And a nice mark to Zach Williams.
Can't underestimate that kick and the mark there from Williams to relieve some pressure. Then you can go into a bit of composed possession with the ball, just as the Blues are now.
Eagles had a bit more of the territory after the Blues hit the first couple of behinds of the game.
So the Carlton are trying to draw their forwards back and create a bit of space in between, but the Eagles having none of it.
Elijah Hollands with the long ball. They've got an extra number back there. West Coast. Zach Williams was just trying to duck for cover at the end. Wasn't sure where it was going.
I think that highlights just how swirly and blustery this breeze is here this afternoon. If you're at the ground, you're saying, well, the advantage is to the left of the screen, but you can see that one. Did it carry? Did it hold up? Players are quite confused out there.
Yeah, nearly hit him in the back of the head. Kennedy again forced to do the ruck work. Does pretty well here. The flick from Cooper Lord, the debutant, got a handball up. Williams fights on. Duggan, Yo, fought back by Hollands, brother to brother. The two new Blues brothers combining to get it towards Camp. Couldn't get near it. Edwards takes another good strong mark. Yeah, they can't. These kicks that Carlton are pulling off, West Coast have got the loose behind the play, so they need to find a way to through hands.
Well read by Wiedering. We'll take it for the Blues, but playing on into a bit of trouble. And he chips the kick back. Gaff committed, knocked it down. Kennedy now wrapped up. Do well to get it out there, but a good tackle lay. The Eagles' pressure has been excellent.
And I think that's the feature right now. Their pressure has been fantastic, West Coast. And what it does allow is the likes of McGovern and Edwards to roll off and actually have some tougher kicks in terms of the Carlton forwards to deal with.
Almost at 200 on the pressure gauge. West Coast is a good tackle from Morel Dewar. And they've kicked the first couple of the game. Cripps and Reid renewing hostilities at this stoppage. Over the back of both rucks. Cripps, just about as tall as both of them, almost took it. Lord with a good handball to Cripps, back through the traffic. They peel away and allows him to generate the inside 50. Kemp down there. Edwards, terrific one-on-one win. Taking a few good intercepts back there.
Witherden, and now Duggan. All the answers at the moment.
That message is going to have to go out because Carlton aren't changing the way they're going inside 50, and West Coast have just got a massive advantage there. They would have known that before the game, though, so that's probably a midfield message that needs to come out.
Gaff sends it long. might sound crazy, but kicking along the ground inside 50 is not the most ridiculous thing to consider as we see the ball taken out by Jackson Binns in his second game, second season, played round 7 this year, came on as a sub in the last quarter in his debut. They've got a couple of their young guns they're relying on playing in the midfield at the moment. Cooper Lord, as you saw earlier, a few minutes ago. Good tackle laid by Walsh, dispossessed. Old Bull and Young Bull still going head-to-head. Patrick Cripps and Harley Reid. Reid turns it over. He's tried to slap it to advantage. Almost scooped it off the deck. Hoff pursues it. They pursue him. Big moment. They need to be clean. Kennedy slots it. And they're alive in the hunt for a spot in the top 8, the Blues.
That's a great goal from the stoppage, but Brodie Kemp, they're going to him straight away for his attack on the ball on the half-forward flank. So the Reid handball misses, and then Kemp just says, well, I'm going to body line this and see what happens from there. And then it's just a bit of chaos. First Gibbs, good play here. He's really smart, hard running from up around the stoppage. You talked about it, Scully, how high some of the half-forwards are playing. Well, it's well executed on this occasion, and Kennedy reaps the benefits.
Yeah, still as it sounds, this maybe is how Carlton has to score today. Scrappy footy, but clean and hard and contested work.
We're just kicking the ball to space, as compared to saying to the likes of Kemp and or Kennedy, I'm going to put it on your head, or just put it into space, more so than actually kicking it to the key forward.
So used to having those two big key pillars down there in the forward line, and Colonel and Mackay Reid crunched in. He took the contact. The tackle was excellent from Hewitt. Ball not forward. Akers can gather. Goes short to Walsh. Got the extra number, so can share it with Cripps. He'll deliver it in short as well. Blues building. Hewitt over the top. Now they look up. Durden goes short, and Kennedy, well, he might be the man who steps up inside 50.
Great kick by Cripps. It was the pull kick, 20-metre, connect inside. Then they can go with hands, and then they're entering from 55 out, and all options are available there.
Yeah, you can't defend that. Shoulders out, lower the eyes. There's the kick you talk about, Scully, bottom left, and then they're able to hit up their forward, coming at the ball.
Career high 33 disposals last week. Has been a goal kicker this season. Kennedy's kicked plenty of goals at this stadium, but if you can't add a second there.
Let's have a look at this. Big contest with Harley Reid in the middle of the ground. Stayed down for a little bit, but it's good hard footy in there between Carlton and West Coast.
And well done to Hewitt for going low.
Yep.
Tackle the hips. Legal, still allowed to bump. Just got to get him low. Yo. Turns and goes. Wants the corridor, pumps it inside, turns it over. Elijah Collins opens it up wide. Go and get that, Jackson Binns. Big moment, game 2. Cole with him. Beats him. Too much experience. Ryan with a bullet. Waterman. Well, he thought about it. You can't get called to play on just for thinking about it. Luckily. It's good turnover footy though, isn't it? It's great pressure. The ball wasn't perfectly executed from Carlton out the D5. There's a huge one-on-one win then from Cole, and then you're out if you're the Eagles. They had 2 or 3. Could have raffled it. Jackson Binns has been getting plenty of it in the VFL on a wing. Been dominating. Been calls from Blues fans to get him in, but this is a step up in level. That was bizarre. It's still markable from an unremarkable kick. And good tackle. Laid and get a ball up just out from the goal square. Darling laying a tough tackle on the debutant Cooper Lord.
It's a win factor coming in.
We're in the old saviours number. Cooper Lord, Mark McClure. 243 games in the number 36.
Jake Waterman will be claiming it was the breeze.
I hope so.
Went right across into the pocket. There's Yo trying to feed a handball out. Eagles have some numbers. Duggan, Jimby, back for Gaff from the 50. Just a high ball into the square, and we're ready. On which we go.
Fascinating matchup, this one, isn't it? Because Waterman's been on early, had a number of shots at goal. Mitch McGovern likes that scenario, though, where there's enough pressure around the ball and you can read the play just like his brother.
It's in the direction of Jeremy there as well. Wettering had hands to it. Kelly really a handball to any of his teammates, and the Blues can work it away. Wobbly old kick from Akers. Worked out okay. Scrappy footy forward. Cripps kept it alive. Hoff's in there under the pump. Blues trying to keep their feet, and it will be locked up.
11 disposals for Patrick Cripps. He's having some type of opening quarter, a couple of clearances to go with that, 3 inside 50s. He's saying, jump on my shoulders today, boys.
Averaging 28 for the season, back to sorts of numbers that saw him win the Brownlow in 2022.
He's going to need to, isn't he, given the injuries Carlton suffered last week and the game experience that they're missing. These are the sorts of games we see Patrick Cripps at his best, though.
Well, 707 games of experience with the changes they made this week. Brought in just 129. Big difference, this team, to last week as they get it forward, though. They scrap away. Kennedy almost could have marked it again inside 50. Oh, he's crafty. Kick just goes up and down. Slapped away by Cole. Blues still a chance. Better way to Walsh. He goes with a finish. It just was never coming back enough. And a behind to the Blues, but creating some opportunities with some of that chaos footy inside 50.
Yeah, ground ball footy, so they're getting there first. When that ball comes to ground from the aerial contest, we're seeing Carlton at the source a lot. They're leading West Coast to those moments.
Last 30 seconds of the first quarter. Eagles with the narrow lead. Long ball out. Reid went the fly. The crowd getting up out of their seats. Just couldn't hang on. Still a chance here. Cowan for the Blues, taken high. Certainly no advantage there. It'll come back. As the seconds tick down, they'll get a last entry here. Carlton. Lockie Cowan sends it in right to the hot spot. They need a mark, and it's Kemp. They are manufacturing something inside 50, Carlton.
Well, he looks dangerous, Kemp, and he has all quarter. One fell out of his hands earlier on. He had the first set shot on goal, so he's the one that looks like he's trying to put his hand up and be that dangerous forward.
Brody Kemp taking another mark inside 50. Could have kicked the first of the game. Missed out to the right. Just 2 career goals. Brody Kemp needs to be the man up forward. No Mackay, no Curnow, no worries for the Blues as they take the lead at quarter time. 2-point lead it is to Carlton, away from home, missing plenty of their stars. And Brody Kemp kicks the goal. They lead it by 2.
Kids love like multivitamins, supporting healthy growth and development. Omega-3 for brain and eye health, and vitamin C and zinc for immune system health. Kids Smart Vita Gummies, growing healthy kids.
Oh, Andy, you do not need to go to such great lengths to watch free-to-air TV with me.
Hubble's got the free-to-air TV you love fused into our integrated TV guide.
Everybody's hubbling.
Next time you go shopping, know the story and add higher welfare farming to your list. Know that layer hens can forage and dust bathe. Be confident knowing that meat chickens are raised with more space, free to flap their wings. Know that salmon have enough space to school naturally. And know that pigs lead enriched lives interacting with each other. Know that standards aren't just being met, but continually improved. Know the story. RSPCA approved.
Nothing brings my team together like KO. Take my daughter, the Boomerang. She moved out last year, but she always comes back for the big game. Great value for the whole team. KO, get on board.
Well, Fox Footy have assembled a formidable squad for 2024. Superstar after superstar with depth and experience across the ground. They look raring to go and will be the team to beat again this year.
Out of this world, this game.
Good teams can just play. Great teams keep going no matter what.
That is absolutely stacked.
This will be your final countdown.
Controversy here.
It is a betrayal of the whole football public. I think the tribunal has let football down. I'm Jared Waitley, here's Mark Robinson. It's footy from all angles.
Quarter time at Optus Stadium, and it's Carlton leading West Coast by 2 points. Everyone knows what's on the line today. Win, and the Blues are back in the 8th with a round to play. Patrick Cripps has started this game just as you'd expect from the skipper. 11 disposals, 2 clearances, 3 score involvements. Roddy Kemp also really impressive up forward in the absence of Curnow and Mackay. Jake Waterman kicking the goals down the other end for West Coast. But as I throw it up to you, Matthew Pavlich, you've been really impressed by the Blues ball movement by hand.
Yeah, well, we've talked all game and even pre-game, didn't we, about how they're going to have to find a different way, and at the moment it's come from handball and actually getting out the front of stoppages and forward of the play. So it's the running power of Walsh, which we know all too well about, but Patrick Cripps has had a wonderful first half. Are you going to score against this West Coast taller defensive unit, the likes of McGovern and Edwards controlling the air? Well, you're going to have to use your numbers around the ball. You can see there, Carlton outnumber the Eagles, but actually being patient and using your hands to get into some space and then be able to either shoot a goal or lower your eyes and find the leading forward. Absolutely crucial today. And Patrick Cripps, Scully, has been on fire.
Well, he has. Big quarter for him. 11 disposals, 4 of those contested. He's getting involved in scoring and clearances. And the other one as well, Matty Kennedy. He's been involved in all of those clips we're watching as well. So he's really stepped up in the absence of a few of their midfielders.
We get set to go. Second quarter is underway. Pitnet will take it out of the middle. The Blues, that goal after the siren at quarter time, hold the narrow advantage. Cripps goes in. Reed throwing his weight around. Spills out to the wing. Duggan was taken home.
Yeah, Pitnet's having a bit of an influence. 5 first possessions, 5 clearances. Only Williams and Co are going to have to get moving in that area of the ground.
Duggan sends it long inside 50. Waterman in front. Hands to it. To ground. Now Ryan twisting, turning, in trouble. Good tackle by Ollie Hollins, and now Chincotta with some bounce off halfback. Cripps, this is where the Blues have looked good with some more run and carry. Durden with some run, but the kick was poor. Edwards almost chopped it off. He goes back to fight it again. Carlton still a chance. Kemp kicked the last one, and he adds another. Bright start to the second term in the sunshine for the Blues.
Well, this is off turnover, so every score in this game, or every goal in this game, is off turnover. It's this one right here. Liam Ryan coughs it up, and Carlton are just off to the races. They got men goal side, and the forward handball and run that you highlighted, Pav, at quarter time. This is where they're getting them. Harry Edwards probably would like to do better at both of these. Drops the mark and then coughs it up again. But it's this man right here, Kemp, who is the most dangerous forward on the ground right now.
But just when you think you're going to score, you get scored against. The Eagles in a threatening position, and it doesn't Michael Voss like that because it came from a forward half tackle. They were out, the Blues. The handball that we've talked about and highlighted, and it gets this man into the game. 2 goals.
Blues not about to let this season slip away, and this man, their Superman, has put the cape on. He's been brilliant. And they're coming with him. Akers sends it inside 50. Kemp's been great. Almost half volleyed it and kept it in front. Not a bad spot for a ball up, though, for the Blues. And they can circle up. Young team, small team. Belief growing. Harley Reid, little fumble. Found some space where there wasn't a lot. Thought about the 1-2. Jinby gets it back. Goes back to Gaff. Bad option. Handball inside from Durden. Didn't work initially. Lord crunched. Still a chance for Gaff to float it wide, but it should be Ollie Holland's ball. Goes back. Durden, McGovern. Now he pumps it. Wrong option to send it skyward. Pitnet was there though at least. Owies caught, stripped. Gaff got it. Wrapped up by the big boy. We'll get another ball up.
Yeah, that's right, Dwayne. It was the wrong option to go skyward, but it was an absolute floater, so it was difficult to mark.
Despite the sunshine, it is very swirly conditions out there. Tricky breeze for both teams. Sort of hard to gauge exactly who's got the advantage. It really depends where the ball is on the ground. It swirls around this stadium. One by the Blues, flicked out. Elijah Hollins, good sputter by True. Took it off the boot and took it away. With a run and a bounce, brushes off a tackle. Now to Cripps, his fumble. Chincotta half a chance. Cripps goes back in again. The help arrives for Carlton. Mitch McGovern. Ollie Hollins away to Cowan. They steady up the wing. With the mark.
Carlton have been cleaner in those situations. Really clean. One handball, they're out. West Coast fumbly and aren't able to capitalise off turnover at the moment.
Quick off that counter-attack. The Blues are held up this time. Cripps in front, infringed against by Yo. Extra size playing in front. Yo's unsure about it. He reached over the shoulder.
Well, this will be Paddy Cripps' 15th touch. He might have to pay him some attention soon, the West Coast Eagles.
This goes in short, and again Kennedy takes a mark inside 50. Long way out, so it goes with a short pass, and they claim the mark inside 50. And Cooper Lord has got the footy in his hands.
And sloppy defensively from West Coast. 2 kicks, almost repeats. So Liam Duggan was the one initially off his opponent, and then there's another secondary quick kick. Smart play from the Blues, but sloppy defence from the Eagles.
The disposals of VFL last week. Earns it a blue. 9 in the mid-season draft this year. Gets his opportunity. Family watching on, praying that he can make some good connection. Just probably apt for someone named Lord as it goes to the high ball and it stays out to the right. And through from behind, the family watching on, so nervous in the stands. It's great to see.
Awesome to see how engaged they are. Praying for it to go through.
He was just hanging around in the lounge room with Bum when he got picked up in that mid-season draft. Cooper Lord was pivotal in Sandringham's under-18 premiership. He's a possession winner in that premiership win. It was unlucky that he didn't get picked up in the main draft last year. A holding free. Jinby got it from Williams, gave it off, wrong guy. Here's Lord again. Durden, 3 came at him, he drew a crowd. That means there's a blue or 2 free. Owies, he had Kennedy, couldn't get it to him. Crowd screaming, ball. Fantastic tackle on Duggan, dragged down, and we'll get a ball up.
West Coast flicking the ball around a lot, particularly off half-back, so it's been a clear indication that they're trying to get their handball game going, just turning it over though.
Yo in the middle of it, big pack around it. Hit a net, getting his knees dirty. And he's their only man. Going to have a rest or 2 in the ruck, which means Kennedy and Cripps have been pinch hitting. Pinnet rips it out of the air himself. And misses only behind.
Yeah, that ruck battle's an interesting one. You got the 2 Williams at West Coast going head-to-head with Pitnet.
probably better on the ground than both of those guys, and you see that right there. He's a competitor once the ball hits the deck.
9 scoring shots to 4. Over the travelling side, so many players out, but they're only worrying about who they've actually got out there on the park this afternoon. They're having a real crack, the Blues, as Yo takes the mark. He's going to go aggressively. Cross half back to Ryan.
They're well set up though, Blues, because Liam Ryan looks up and there's only Carlton players ball side. You can see there's the view. Only Blues players ball side of what Ryan had ahead of him, so that's why he's had to switch the ball back to the near side.
Kelly's just come off the bench. Trying to find some space, but they haven't really gained any territory with those couple of disposals. Now Kelly can try and move it forward. Rise for distance up towards Darling. Waitering a big punch away. And sees it close to the boundary line. Akers couldn't keep it in. And get a boundary throw in.
Both sides set up really well behind the footy all day, so Carlton are trying to get slingshot footy going, and West Coast have handballed more this quarter than they did in the first. They played a kick mark game, but this one, those forward handballs trying to come in for West Coast.
Well, Michael Voss talking the boundary. He knows how big this is for him and his club. Reid gets the handball out. Carroll went and got it. Young, Walsh. Again, this handball chain footy. Back to Carroll. Short pass, try and maintain possession. Off. Had it and then lost it. We've got a ball in, as you can see. Jackson Binns on the boundary. He might only be in game 2, but he's barking some instructions from the bench. They're all into it. Wearing Brennan Favola or Alex Jezelenko's old number 25, Jackson Binns. Big moment for him back in game 2. Pinanet takes it out of the air. Ole got his arms free. Go to Hewitt. Thumps it. 1-on-1 inside 50. Hunt had it but lost it. Durden went and got it. Gave it to Kennedy. Moonwalks backward, goes long, goal square. Williams, 1-on-3, nearly beat them all. Motlop goes hard, just as hard the other way. Jamie Cripps wraps him up, ball up.
You'll see the advantage when the ball hits the ground. Carlton are there first in about 3 chances in a row, beating West Coast to the footy.
At ground level, as it's tapped straight to the boundary line by Bailey Williams.
Yeah, 13, we're making 14 more ground ball gets at the moment, so if there was an area of the game that if you're Michael Voss heading into this match, you say, well, where are we going to beat the opposition given all our keys out? Well, it's going to be on the ground, and they've come here to play up that front today.
10-point lead to the Blues. The Rucks are standing a long way back. Motlop trying to get the footy out of there. And closely watched by Brady Hoff, who's done a great job on a number of the small forwards this season, keeping a close check on Jesse Motlop. Williams get it down, spills to Reid. Handball, Jaden Hunt, tackled well, great tackle, in fact, had the one-arm pinned. He had nowhere to go, Jaden Hunt, and Durden wins the free.
Yeah, tackle number 6 inside 50. We'll call this one just a metre inside 50. Their forward pressure's been elite. Carlton had plenty of opportunities so far this quarter. It's the 7th inside 50 to 1. We're controlling this one at the moment.
How the breeze affects this kick. He's a long way out, so just goes into the pocket. He's looking again for Kemp. Taken out of his hands. Or do you pay the man in front? No, the umpire's just going to halve it. Jump ball.
How do you do that?
Not
man
sure.
In front. Sorry. That's never been done before, is it?
I'm a little confused. Right?
Such a quick whistle.
Man in front's always been the decision.
He was right there.
Take the ball up. Should have been a mark to the Blues. Eventually, McGovern is tackled over. And it is a behind to Carlton.
Strange one. That looked like Brody Kemp's ball. McGovern was trying to steal it out of his hands.
No noise of affirmation, maybe. McGovern. It's a floater. It's a mongrel. Pinanet couldn't even try and mark it. He just thumped into the middle. Cowan attacked it, kept it in front. Carroll scoops it up. Williams has a pass option, a bullet. And they are on. Durden can line up.
Yeah, they need some reward for effort, though. You can see they're up and about. They're very confident of how they're defending the ground at the moment. 8 inside 50s to 1 in this quarter, but it's only 11 points. They need a result here.
Should be confident. He's had a sider. He went with a short, low pass before. Only 2 minutes ago to extend the margin.
keeps it low, lets the breeze make it a work of art. Well, what's been impressive here for Carlton, we've spoken about their ground ball work, we've spoken about what they're doing behind the footy, but their contest work and the ability to get these sorts of looks inside 50 as well. It's clean, and they're lowering their eyes now. You can see all the West Coast defenders expecting a longer kick, but lowering the eyes like this, you can't defend it. And Carlton, again, have started this quarter very, very well.
They just can't get their hands on the ball. The Eagles, 28 uncontested possessions to 8. Just so dominant around the ball. We talked about that ground ball, and they're right up for the contest, the Blues, and they've finally got some reward for their effort.
Doing his first game since round 15. And impressive set shot, just using the breeze to draw it back.
Patrick Cripps back on the field, fresh from a spell off the bench, looking to pick up where he left off with 15 disposals, 5 score involvements so far.
Been busy. Next calf as Jinby sends it inside 50. A rare entry for the Eagles in this quarter. Chincotta trying to take it. Got a little shove from Darling. Duggan could have infringed, but it'll be called a ball up. 20 inside 50s to 12 for the match. He was well in front on that stat. Walsh couldn't burrow his way through a couple of tackles and we'll get another stoppage.
So just an opportunity now for West Coast defenders to take a bit of a breather, get some field position and perhaps get a shot at goal.
And again with strength. Yo with partial smother. Hewitt in there. Ball at feet. No one can pick up cleanly. And Ollie Holland's got there first and won the free for over the shoulder.
Yeah, he did, and he went in harder. So as they came out there, they had 2 players in front of the footy, so they had to work it out through hands. But multiple occasions today, Carlton players have gone harder than West Coast guys.
And more committed at ground level. Well, share it around. Elijah back to Ollie. And Reed just tackled him as he got the kick away, but it was effective to Kemp. Awkward kick. They had an option. Owens was drifting into that pocket if it had been a clean kick, but in the end, Duggan's up to intercept.
Yeah, so Kennedy's still kicking himself for that one. It was on, wasn't it? You can see it. Heads down the line. Big flies, a free kick. So cheers for Oscar Allen. He hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Coming off that inspirational 5 goals 2 last week, including the match winner against North Melbourne in Hobart. Started to find some form late in the season, their co-captain. He thumps it. Knows they've got the height advantage. Under it, Darling, and had it plucked by Weedery. No ball up there. Man behind. Slips it wide to Newman. Confident at the moment, the Blues. Everyone takes a breath. Final game of the round. Blues win it. They're in the 8, and Cripps has been magnificent. Handed that off before he landed. Hewitt inside 50. Motlop went hard, but just as hard, Harry Edwards held his ground.
Might have hurt Edwards a little bit. Good contest it was for Motlop.
Third intercept mark for Harry Edwards. As this time Allen up the wing. One up on Newman to bring it to ground. Kennedy with some soccer skills. Trying to gain some territory again. Hoff, arms clear, hands to Gaff, to Yo. And a high ball up and under to the wing, Wiedering in front. Reed gave him a little shove, won the footy though. And he's got an option at half forward. And it's wide though of Darling. He was in space, but the errant kick causes the turnover.
Yeah, turnover there, but they're just working harder than the Eagles right now. They're getting more numbers to the contest. They're outnumbering them at most of the spillages around the ground, the Blues. At the moment, showing a clean set of heels to the Eagles midfielders in particular, but even their half forwards.
Another poor kick. Nothing to do with the breezy conditions on that one. And it's out of play again. Scrappy.
Still no one paying a great deal of attention to Patrick Cripps at some of these stoppages. He's still continuing to do what he feels like out there.
Such a dominant force around the stoppages. Patrick Cripps, Walsh there as well. Good able to get it out. Lord getting involved now. Cripps, that space back to Walsh. Little fumble, cost some time. And there's a good tackle by Witherden. And they see it to the boundary.
And Hewitt's the other one. So they're probably now at quarter time or at least halfway through this second term saying, okay, Elliot Yo or somebody, please get off Patrick Cripps. Well, George is also saying, you know what, I'm getting involved. I've also had the 16 disposals.
That little fumble was indicative of Walsh's season. He hasn't quite been on as much as he normally is. Lord dragged down. Crowd screaming ball. Don't get it. There's Walsh in tight. Dragged down. Last home game of the year for the Eagles, and they're vocal. Their fans. There they are. Look, there's a moment just after this. Jack Williams is there. You've got to go for the footy. You've got to get hard to West Coast. Yo, floats it up. Someone's going to have to go hard here. Might be Darling from 4 deep. Got the fist on it and then went and crumbed it. Cowan wrapped him up and we'll get a ball up.
I think it's indicative of just where the Eagles are at right now. They're saying, okay, you go for it. No, I go for it. It's just, hey, if the ball's there to be won, go and win it.
Carlton are setting the standard, aren't they? It's really good to watch how they've come.
17-point lead to the Blues, and Cripps took it out of the ruck. Lord lost it. His backside gaff had to get creative to get a disposal away. And then Kelly is held up.
They know what's at stake here, Carlton. This is a backs against the wall type game. They've come over across the country. They've lost players, but they've got everything to play for right now.
Keep their season going, the Blues. And down on manpower, but fighting hard as the kick goes to half forward for the Eagles. Bouncing the ball through, one past Wiedering. Get back Carroll. Ollie Hollins retreats back. Young. Drawn to the footy. Hollins just popped over the top and he turns it over. So efficiency by foot for both teams has been poor. Johnston sends it back into the forward pocket. Slapped away by Young. Stays in play. Dewar. He tries to feed it back. No, he was out. And it'll be a boundary throw.
Talk about efficiency. 69% the Eagles going by foot. Carlton only 51%. So, yes, it's blustery. Yes, it's a bit slippery out there, but both teams unable to handle the pressure from the opposition teams, opposition sides at this point in time.
Jack Williams, the more experienced blockman on Kennedy again. Ball down to Carroll, caught, taken to the line. Good follow-up by Jack Williams, the man who Will Schofield is on seat 1A on his bandwagon, has been all year, and he has delivered now that he's been given his opportunity the last few weeks. Been superb. Cripps against him this time. Double-handed knockdown. Chincotta wrapped up. He's going nowhere. Jamie Cripps in game 250 stops him. We'll get another ball up.
150 for the Eagles. Cripps doing it all for the Blues. Kennedy's in there. Ryan can squeeze a kick through the traffic. Destined for another ball up.
Well, Matt Flynn's the man being held out by Jack Williams and Bailey Williams as that ruck that West Coast recruited last year to the footy club. So they should get a significant advantage here, though, with Patrick Cripps in the ruck. It's a big boy, though, Pav.
Cripps is almost the same size as Jack Williams. In fact, probably a bigger frame overall as they get it away here again, the Blues. Elijah Hollins under the pump. Works out okay. Binns able to take it. Gets it to Wiedering. Not much ahead. He just has to tread water for a moment. Waits for something to present. And Walsh working hard on the wing.
That was well done by Wiedering. He had nothing ahead of him. You saw him slow down just to compose himself.
Finding some desperation, trying to smother, but Walsh's kick goes up the line. And it just stays in play for Kemp, who's been a handful. Inside 50, kicks the ball long, one-on-one. Jinby under the pump. He was able to rush it through there. Inside the zone and under enough pressure. He did well. That one-on-one with the opponent bearing down.
And a revelation back there. Had the poise there. Didn't panic. He knew the rule. Their pick 9 for 2022 thumps it. Huge leap by Darling. Got up there from 3 deep. Couldn't pull it down. Durden, a little roller. Witherden caught high. Motlop untidy. Let's watch this one from Darling. Oh, yeah. Would have been nice, but spoiled there. Young. A little bit of a knee to the head as well. We'll keep an eye on that. So whether that's checked. As Ryan went from 4 deep, but the man in front took the mark, Jack Darling. There was a cue. Ryan thought he had his name on the door. Just run back to his position, laughing, me and Ryan. Darling goes. Having fun. He puts it up. Who's going to go for this one? Well, no one goes in the end, and Newman gobbles it up, and they can head forward with 6 minutes on the clock and a handy break in the shadows of half-time.
They go to Cripps, who's sandwiched between a couple of opponents. And a push, a late whistle, the free kick does go to Cripps.
He caught a mark to begin with, and then I think the umpire, this is, reviewed in his own mind what had happened and decided it was a push to Cripps.
Disposal number 20 coming up for the Carlton champion. Goes to Newman. That's a poor kick. Witherden could have marked it. The crowd are unhappy he didn't. He sent it to the boundary line instead.
Yeah, you can just see, even in that instance, that West Coast aren't feeling it right now. They're not confident in the way they're moving the ball, or at least even getting their hands on the ball. And so what would seem like a simple, easy mark, they decide to punch it out of bounds.
Both teams have been poor with their execution, though, kicking forward. Cripps lays a tackle, get a stoppage.
Not getting enough benefit out of this ruck combination here as Pinnerhead finally comes back into the ruck.
He wings a clean hit out down. Hoping for Cripps, found Kennedy. Away to Chincotta. Blues inside 50 again. Jeremy McGovern lost it in the sun, perhaps. A rare fumbled mark. It opens the door for the Blues, and they can capitalise. But not by 6 points. Only one. Walsh just off target.
And they've had some opportunities, haven't they? The Blues really just dominated this second quarter, Scully.
Well, through work rate, though. Yeah, that is how Walsh gets to the fight. He's just working harder than any West Coast midfielder right now.
He had a 24-possession game against Hawthorn last week, Sam Walsh. He is working into some good form as Wiedering gets there from 3 deep to try and thump it away. Hits the deck, gets it back, rolls one in the Walsh direction. Splendid tackle on Reid. Keeps it in the area. Duggan caught. Got it to Williams. Kick smothered. Kelly over his head. Ryan raced for contact.
Yeah, it was with the body there from Cripps. He wrapped up Ryan strongly, but it was just a strong tackle.
Pinnerhead getting his palm to a lot of balls. So is Cripps and Walsh at the moment. This is a fun watch if you're a Blues fan.
Yeah, Liam Ryan's in trouble here, boys. He's tried to come off and can't put a lot of weight in his leg.
Effort high from the Blues at the moment. Stalking a spot in the top 8. Reid flicks it over his head. Didn't know what was there. Akers was waiting for it. And is it downfield? It might be. Owings might have the shot here. So Matt Owings with the responsibility.
So this one's going to be on Liam Duggan here. A shot on Blake Akers. We've seen that made a lot over the last few weeks.
In he struts for 5 Blues goals in a row.
Been a lot of handballs this quarter from the Eagles that have been haphazard and put their teammates under pressure. Yes, the Blues pressure has been good as we able to put Liam Ryan there, but there's one behind the head. Here's the Corky, we think it might be, big Corky. But Harley Reid flicks one over his head. It ends up in the hands of the Blues, and that is late and just down the field, but just turned the ball over so much, and it has meant they haven't owned any possession whatsoever and allowed the Blues to score. 8 scoring shots to none this quarter. It's been a poor display from the Eagles.
Work rate and out-muscling that contest. Carlton too hard, too strong, and working too hard for West Coast.
Up by 25, the Blues working hard in this first half. The Eagles now trying to respond. It's just about a throw from Bailey Williams, and they win it back the other way. Running in numbers. They get it out to Binns, who kicks to half forward, and Durden leading up takes the mark. Blues finishing this quarter strongly. Chip it through the middle of the ground. Young. Some run from behind, the work rate. Newman going to pump it long. High ball in, Kemp there. Pinnerhead as well, hands to it. McGovern for the Eagles. Xiaomi, did he have a chance to get rid of it? No. Ball up.
Well, I thought about it. We've seen them paid this year, especially of late.
He's had half a chance to get a handball out there. Xiaomi. He's blocked from getting to it. Pitnet good on the follow-up. Kick though goes away into the pocket. Zach Williams punched out of it by Witherden, and he's happy to be taken over the line.
And then Pitnet good on the follow-up. That's 6 clearances to him today, so he's absolutely getting to work. Liam Ryan getting some work done on the boundary.
They're going to get moving, West Coast. Their midfielder is being obliterated at the moment.
Spun back in, Pitnet again with strength. Scrap for the footy. Look dangerous. And they've been inside 50, just working harder again. They ripped it away from the Eagles, and they're ripping the game away from them. Kennedy pouncing to kick the goal.
Well, what we're seeing, and Pab, you said it well, an obliteration through the midfield. And it's by their ability to win the footy of the contest and to be clean. Their cleanliness. Watch this handball that gets wide out. Ball's bumping around. It's fumbling around. A lot of pressure. Can't get a hold of it. West Coast, and then bang. There we go. Hewitt to Kennedy and a cleaner.
There's about 3 or 4 fumbles there from an Eagles player. Bit of a fumble there, bit of a fumble. And then Hewitt goes, no worries, I'll mop it up. We kick a goal.
So they'd have some moves they need to make in the box at the moment, West Coast. And on the other side, Carlton, they would just be so happy with how they've come to play this second quarter especially.
Teams have to score while they're hot. Blues are hot right now. Eagles scored the first 2 goals of this game. Blues have scored the last 6. Hewitt out of the middle. Scoots it forward. Been phenomenal, Durden. Got it off just in time to Hewitt. Heads wide, pocket, Kemp. Almost happy to have a ball in. 3 minutes left to half-time. A spot in the top 8 up for grabs. Michael Loss knows he has to pull out one of his finest ever coaching performances. And the small forward line has worked so far. Pitnet has been epic in the ruck. Cripps has been phenomenal as well. Little wobbler wide. Bins bumped. High bomb. Goal square. Great mark taken by Harvey Johnston. Put his body and soul into that. And they need more of that, the Eagles.
He's lost a boot. So he'll be kicking one boot on as well.
Umpires have stopped play for that this year, if you ask nicely.
He wasn't polite enough to get the stoppage of game, but he found it to Reid. Short, they've just been trapped in their defensive half. No flow for West Coast.
Yeah, 16 inside 50s to 5. It just lived in the defensive half.
Oh, to Dungan. We're going to break the lines here. Yo, show the footy. And he's able to generate some run. It's a tubbly old handball. Gets forward, Dewar, lowers the vision, misses Allen though. Kick is always to the advantage of the defender, and Wiedering just calling for calm. Slowing things up after taking the intercept.
We got under pressure by the handball from Elliot Yeo though. They were 3 and out, and then the handball misses the mark, and then the pressure comes on, and Carlton can defend behind the footy.
Allen. The wing. Cripps. Attracting a few. Strong enough to get it out. He and Hewitt have had a stack of the footy in this first half. McGovern somehow recovered to take the mark, and now they can go, the Eagles, through the middle of the ground. Reid points to the spot. He thought Cowan had stepped off. He goes wide instead. He faked the handball. It's all right for the opponent to move a touch as the kick goes to the 50, and Cripps with solid hands. The Eagles are desperate for a goal. There's a bit of a tangle going on in the forward pocket. So which way's the free kick going?
The way I saw it, it'll be against Jack Darling.
And Mitch McGovern slow to get back to his feet. And so the free kick goes to the Blues where the footy was at half back.
Yeah, so Jack Darling was coming in to put a block on for Jake Waterman, and he probably got Mitch McGovern better than he thought he was going to get him. Wasn't watching the footy at all.
A long ball from Akers up the wing. Back crunched in. Spills, slips, does Reid. Still got it back to Jimby. Quick kick, ill-directed.
The sign's been put up, under a minute left, you can see that. It's good leadership by Newman.
45 seconds on the clock. As the Blues go back to the wing. This was there, off, sees it away, and out of play again.
Plenty of work to be done here for West Coast. Carlton, on the other hand, will be going into this halftime break just so happy with how they've come across to Perth. They know what's on the line here. With that 43 minutes since West Coast's last goal.
Such a long time for the home side. They've won one before the major break. The seconds tick down as they tumble a kick up inside 50. Bounce important. Mitch McGovern tried to slap it away. Cripps was waiting to accept. He's got some support over the top. Delays it to Gaff. All on his left. He goes back with the kick, but they're filling short. And again, Poor entry up to the 50 by the Eagles. Elijah Hollins dumped after he got the kick away. Nothing down ground. Jimmy sees it out. Just 4 seconds on the clock. It will be a boundary throw-in. Michael Voss still screaming instructions. Close to half-time. One last stoppage. Williams is there. Cripps again. And Yo compete. What a brilliant display from the Blues. They've had to manufacture a way to keep their season alive. As they battle for their spot in September, they've broken it open to a 31-point lead at halftime.
Bill's really creeping up on you, huh?
All right, half-time here at Optus Stadium. It's the Blue Baggers 6-9-45, leading the Eagles 2-2-14. A workman-like game so far by the Blue Baggers. The Eagles yet to get any real run in their game. Looking forward to seeing a little bit from the Eagles in the second half. Of course, the Eagles, well, they were held scoreless in the second quarter. And the Blue Baggers putting on 4 goals, 5. A great second term by Carlton. Just want to welcome in to Paul. How you going, Squire? Chris? Yeah, don't give up on the Eagles yet. Anything can happen. Just have a look at last night with the Mighty Magpies getting up over Brisbane. Anything can happen. Mark, how are you? Good stuff, good stuff. Let's have a little bit of a look. Since I missed it a quarter time, the stats. Paddy Cripps there for the Blue Baggers, leading the way, the disposal count, 21 touches. He's having a cracker of a game. 6 kicks, 15 handballs, 2 marks, a tackle and 4 clearances. He's doing really well. George Hewitt on 20. Matty Kennedy on 15. Leading for the Eagles, of course, is Harley Reid. Need to see a bit for Harley in the second half. He can fire up his team. Tim Kelly, both doing well, 14 and 13. Stephen Dean, how you going? Yes, but not die hard. How about you? I think he's talking to Paul. Paul, yeah, Paul's a Pies supporter like me, I think. Go Pies. Sam Walsh, he's there for 12 up into half time for the Blue Baggers. Elijah Hollins, he's also with 12. Andy Gaff there, he's with 11 there. And Yale for 10 for the Eagles. I want to see a little bit more of the flair from the Eagles in the final quarter. I'm not sure whether this is the last game at home for this season or they play away next week, but they want to give their fans. It looks like there's a good crowd in there today watching this game. And of course, it's a big game for both teams. Of course, the Eagles want to say thanks to their supporters for the support throughout the year. And of course, it is pretty much the last roll of the dice for Carlton to make the final 8. We'll have a little bit of a look at the live ladder in just a moment as we go through the last stats. There are the stats. We'll have a look at the goal quarters. Oops, I retract my roadkill statement. Eagles will come back. I'm a Pies fan. Our season is all but over too. Pretty much, we'll have a look at the live ladder in a minute, see what's happening there. Just for all the folks who are interested in the Hawthorn-Richmond game, it's deep into the fourth quarter there. And it's Hawthorn leading 18-14, 122 to Richmond, 10-8, 68. So it's been pretty even after half time, where Hawks led by 50 points after quarter time. The Richmond have steadied the ship there well, but the Hawks in cruise mode, which is not good for the other teams around them, wanting the 8. Jake Waterman with the mullet man. He's got 2. Good man. And you get a few more out of him in the second half. Matthew Kennedy, Brody Kemp, the other multiple goal scorers for the match so far, with 2 each for Carlton. Owies, Durden, Young. No, Owies and Durden are the only other 2 single goal scorers for the game. The fantasy points, not much happening there. George Hewitt up to 78, Kennedy 69, Paddy Cripps 59, Harley Reid 56. I'll look at the team stats in a moment. Just have a look at the live AFL ladder there. With Hawthorn going on to win this game today, they jump up into 7th. They're now in the top 8. Can you believe it? 52 points, only a game off 4th. 111.3. Their percentage was good. That was before, so they picked up 3% today in the percentage race. Did the Hawks against the Tigers, and Carlton, if they end up winning, they'll jump up into 8th position. And if they can do it, then it's on their own boot next week if they want to stay in the finals race. And you know what? Unfortunately, that could put the Pies out, Paul. You're right. The Pies and Fremantle could go out if Carlton, Bulldogs, Hawthorn all win next week. I think 50, 54, I think Brisbane are pretty well safe. Their percentage is pretty high. But that's the live ladder at the moment. Before we head back down, listen to some of the commentators, what they're saying. Actually, we might head back down, listen to hear what some of the commentators are saying before we come back and have a look at the team stats.
No, they've put him permanent fullback. I think Elliot Yeo head-to-head, but it's got to be more accountable. It can't just be at stoppage we go to him and pay him a bit of attention. So you got to follow him because of the score involvement.
Because it's not stoppage, it's outside of that initial bubble where he's doing his best work.
What are you admiring most about the Blues from a team perspective, Pat?
Well, I think it's their handball. It's their clear directive into this match, and it's also where West Coast are going wrong right now. So have a look at all the numbers West Coast forward of that contest. They're all hoping that West Coast win that ball, and then they might get a shot at a goal. And Carlton are staying close to the contest, and then they're saying, well, you know what, we're going to run with our numbers, we're going to use our handballs, and we're going to lower our eyes, which I know, Scully, you're going to talk about a little bit. And then they make it up. So that's a bit of a scramble goal. Here's another example of it. Let's have a look at Reid. Let's have a look at Duggan and also Elliot Yeo. They get almost, not Elliot Yeo, but Reid and Duggan almost get past the contest there. And then there's Carlton players everywhere able to strain forward in numbers. So that's where West Coast are going wrong around the contest, and Carlton are playing smart football in terms of using their numbers around the ball.
Well, it looks like they're catching them offside, but they're just being cleaner. Yeah. So it looks like they're cheating or they're getting ahead of the footy. No, they're just anticipating that their teammate's going to win it, and that's how they're doing it.
What about in terms of the Blues inside 50 connections going?
Yeah, look, we know that West Coast got the advantage earlier in this one, and they came into the game with players that could get that done, but a lot of this stuff is off turnover, and you'll see some clean hands here from Carlton, but the ability to lower their eyes as they go inside 50 and not bomb away. All West Coast defenders, they just want it long and high. The lowering the eyes, which we saw the entire quarter that one around, that's what's been impressive, yeah.
Such an impressive first half from Carlton, particularly also tricky conditions. This wind is swirling around, pretty cold for Perth standards as well. John Rouse going to join me next with all the latest footy news. It is Carlton leading West Coast by 31 points.
All right, back again until the commentators come back with some more of their thoughts there. Just let's have a little bit of a look. Freo will hopefully make the finals. That'd be mint. They might. Let's just go back here. Where are Fremantle? 50. Well, they're half a game. They're a half a game outside. Next week, Saints must beat Carlton. Tell you what, the way St Kilda, hang on, let me just have a little bit of a look at that fixture. The Saints, that's right, the Saints beat Geelong by 19 points. So there's always a big chance of that. I'll tell you what, there's a big chance of that, Paul. That could happen. That's why it's going to be so interesting next week for the final round. It's really going to make a toss-up. I mean, these sides could lose. Freo could get up next week's matches. Let me have a look at next week's matches. Just while we're sitting here. Freo actually play Port Adelaide at home. And Port Adelaide's been playing really well. Docker's not too bad, but at least they'll have the home ground advantage next week. So that's going to be important. The other big game here, the Western Bulldogs, they actually play the Giants. So there is a slim chance that even the Bulldogs could miss out if the Giants topple them. Hawthorn should have an easy win next week. Don't worry about that. They play North Melbourne. Who else have we got? Carlton. You said Carlton play. Yeah, Carlton play St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. So probably the home ground advantage actually goes to, I would think, probably St Kilda there. But it's going to be a real interesting week next week. Let's just have a look at the team stats, what's happening there. Of course, Carlton is dominating in most of these. They're about 60 odd disposals up on the Eagles. Eagles need to get the ball in hand a little bit more, have a little bit more control, stop that run on of Carlton. Kicks at 20 up for the Blue Baggers, about, what's that, about 36 for the handballs. Inside 50s, Carlton doing it a little bit better there, 28 to 17. Inside 28 times to the Blues for 15 scoring shots, going better than 50%, and of course the Eagles 17 times inside their 50 for only 4 scoring shots. They need to lift. That is way too low. And as we can see on the efficiency, inside 50, only a 23% there for the Eagles. Needs to lift. The Blue Bags 57%, doing that well. Around the ground though, disposal efficiency, both not too bad at 70, around 70% for both. Free kicks, all tied up there, 9 apiece. Hit outs, Eagles in front there, 27-19. Clearances, the Blues by 4. Centre clearances, the mids there doing it a little bit better there, 5 to 2. Stoppage clearances, 16 to 7. Contested possessions, a little bit harder at the ball there. The Blues 74-58, uncontested. Blues in control there by 44. Turnovers, the pressure's coming from the Blue Baggers, so Eagles turning it over 33 times to Carlton 24. Time in possession for the match, Blue Baggers up there by about 30%, 44% to 34% for the Eagles. Looking at the marks though, the Eagles grabbing the ball a bit better there, 44-38, but there is the difference. The inside 50 marks, which is important. Learn Bottle, how you going? Hello. 9 to 2. Carlton getting plenty of opportunity once going inside. Sounds like a plane taking off from my computer. Yeah, I know. Ira's whisking the cream. She's whisking the cream. She's making a like a chicken pie or something. So that apple pie. So that'll be all right for dessert. So yeah. I'm not taking off on a jet plane yet. It'd be nice to be at the airport taking off, but yeah, unfortunately not. Contested marks 5 to 3. Defensive tackles, Eagles actually up by 8 there, and the tackles inside 53. Both teams doing rather well, 13 to 12. Both already over the season's average. So that's good to see the Eagles putting in the effort there. 1%ers, Carlton a little bit up on that. Let me just roll this back up. Starhawk Will Day tonight in hospital with suspected broken collarbone. There's breaking news there from the news panel there. So there we go. So that is that. Let's just put it back on there. We're only 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go until the bounce of the ball. All right, folks, let me just turn this sound off and I'll be back momentarily while it sounds like a plane. All right, folks, we're back, and we're going to take you back down to the ground now to start of the second half, and it's Carlton 6-9-45 leading the Eagles 2-2-14. 31-point lead here to the Blues. Can the Eagles fight their way back? Let's head back down to the ground and the commentators as they will take us in to the second half.
Second Brownlow. Jared Schofield's been praised for his coaching the last couple of weeks, a couple of wins, but this has been a bit bizarre. He knew the Cripps storm was coming, but he wouldn't wind the window up, boys. What's going on? He's got a bit of a mess to clean up now.
Well, this is what we saw against North Melbourne last week from West Coast. To be honest, Dwayne, they kicked 3 goals with about 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. So, am I surprised with Carlton's performance? No, I'm not either, because they've got everything on the line. If they win this, they hold their destiny in their own hands, and having that as something above your head coming into a game, there's no greater motivator.
Yeah, there isn't. And sometimes when you've had a bit of a rough trot, it actually does take simplifying the game plan and just stripping it back to going lower and harder than the opposition and putting a lot of pressure on them. And that's exactly what they've done in this first half. It didn't always open up early in the game. West Coast, as you said, Dwayne, with the first couple of goals, but led by this man, Patrick Cripps, and a lot of their small half forwards and midfielders. They've just got to work and have just simply outworked their opposition. West Coast nowhere near the level in terms of effort and role to begin with, and they're just going to have to get moving in this third term.
Liam Ryan out there after that, talking in that first half.
Yeah, he is. Tom Cole's moved onto a wing, so you've got Duggan and Cole on a wing. West Coast, I don't think Carlton will change too much. They've been too good so far, so they'll be hoping to do what they've done to start this first half, which is win it at the source, then lower their eyes going inside 50. That's been really important for them.
Carlton trying to keep their season going, keep their destiny in their own hands. They lead it by 31 points. As we get set for the start of the third quarter, Pitnet's played a vital role for the Blues and tries to take it out that time. Kelly, away to Reid, had the most of it for the Eagles, and he just fends one off with a run and a bounce. Harley Reid with the kick, it goes wide though, trying to generate some drive.
Wow, that was violent coming out of stoppage there. What's the speed here? You know what's coming. Yeah, that is a big fend off.
Umpire hit the behind. Please check it hit the post.
Review underway.
See if it's a score or Nos. Looks like it's gone through cleanly.
It's a gap between the ball and the behind post at all times. Decision on the scoreboard.
One of the more exciting behinds of the season, but it was well wide. Harley Reid. And West Coast get it out of the middle, which is something that they were desperate to do.
Tim Kelly, you talked about the ruck battle. Pitnet's been on top by a long way to so far in this match, and then Tim Kelly was the second one to sort of huff the ball and love the explosive power from Reid.
Mitchell McGovern bites off the corridor, went through Pitnet, went through Jimmy. Harley Reid feeds back. He's got Motlop for company. Motlop got there ahead of time, took them all on, got a kick away, inspirational, gets it in Williams' direction, and good mark taken by Harry Edwards, who's been doing it all afternoon, stopping the rot. It's a big intercept mark to Harry Edwards, and he takes it on the other side of the ground.
Away. West Coast trying to break it off half-back. Darling was desperate and a lovely spin. Out of some trouble. Got it to Jaden Hunt. They connect by hand and they roll up the wing. They threaten to lose it though, West Coast. A little bit more intensity about them starting this third quarter. Ryan over the top. Cripps tucked up on the boundary. Ball could kick inside 50. Made it tough for Waterman. Ball at feet. Duggan trying to wrestle it out of there and we'll get a ball up.
It's only a minute and 10 seconds in, Scully, but it looks as though it's a hungry and more desperate West Coast team.
Ball thrown up, Pitnet again, just drops it down to feet. Yo, able to shovel it out. Kelly put his body on the line to win it that time. Quick kick to the square, bounce important. Jack Williams in a wrestle. Akers, he just throws it to himself around the post. Jack Higgins has taught us anything, you can do that. As the ball goes out, it's taken by Liam Ryan.
Not sure if in your own 1 metre line that's where you want to be doing it though. At least he goes trying to kick goals.
Kick by Ryan in. Probably could have taken it over, but in the end, West Coast now get a set shot, and it's Jamie Cripps in game 250.
You can see this change from West Coast.
Yeah, it's so visible.
Clearly been challenged at half time, and Carlton going to have to match it.
Aaron Schofield's challenged his team at the major break to lift. Jamie Cripps. He's kicked so many goals before. 6 all-time at West Coast, or started his career at the Saints. Game 250, and that kick goes all the way. A big goal in his milestone game for Jamie Cripps. What breaks the run of 6 straight for Carlton, and West Coast just have a different look about them to start this quarter.
Yeah, it was right on the line there, wasn't it? Rebound footy. Would he been able to take that over? Was he under pressure, do you think? Probably why he's decided, Blake Acres, to do what he did, but in the end it's a costly one. Jamie Cripps with a great finish. He was riding it.
He tried to pull that, you saw the arms go. Lost control of his body a bit over.
A long time between goals for the Eagles. They had 11 goalless terms now. They didn't kick one in the second, but they get the first of the third.
From the restart, slapped down by Williams. The umpire has called it back. West Coast Eagles came from behind a bit. The Suns kicked the last 3 goals of that game here a couple of weeks ago. Came from behind a bit. North Melbourne kicked the last 4 goals of that game last week. Hewitt wrapped up by Yo, who's been the instigator, who's been the fire starter for the Eagles in the second half. Yeah, the intent is there. You can see, well, if we're not going to win it, then you're not going to get a clean clearance either.
Net Bailey Williams down to Cripps, another possession, but his arms free. Hewitt outside of the boot. McGovern! Nice little bit of hang time as well from older brother. Heads out wide. Cripps can't take it. Now, is there a free? There is. I think it's going to come back. No, it's against the Eagles. It's a Blues ball to Binns. Just holding on. Cripps. Free kick goes to Binns. And he sends it inside 50. Kev had hands to it. Jinby was good to get it away to McGovern. Witherden to Yo. Poor handball out wide. A little unsure. Jaden Hunt goes along the wing. Darling spoiled it and marked it almost. It's out of play.
That was a good fight by Newman in the end. Jack Darling was trying to spoil it, but he's a forward, so he knows how to do his market, and he couldn't quite bring it in. Nick Newman, the backman, fought well there. Just a drive-by.
Just came up with a good spoil last week, Jack Darling, to set up that last goal.
It's a positive thing that all you know is how to market. It's a good thing.
Duggan after it. Trapped again by the Blues and out of play. Again, just a bit more pressure from the home team to start this third term as they try to find a way back into it. Carlton leading it by 24.
2 rucks got a fair way back for the last ball in. Then had to motor forward. Here they come again. Williams got there with the palm down. Chink Cotter gave it to Binns, who's getting a couple of important possessions at the moment in game 2. Found Kennedy. Gave it off to Cripps. Possession 23. Launches long. Williams! Unbelievably good from Patrick Cripps. I needed him to get into the phone box before this one and get the cape on. He's done exactly that.
There's a fair bit going on off the ball with that last stoppage because Elliot Yeo and Cripps and Reid, they were trying to block for one another, and then they got tangled up, Cripps and Reid. I think he's still got a bit of a sore finger from the contest. We'll see what Williams can do here first.
Bends it around, should nail it. Makes the goal umpire dance. Pushes it back out to a safer 30 points.
Yeah, Patrick Cripps is having a wonderful match. But look here, there's a fair bit going on between a few of these. And as the ball gets thrown in, they got tangled up. And then who was the first to react? It was Patrick Cripps. And then he was away. And Ali Reid, we've seen this a bit in his game. We know all the good things he can do, but he can be exposed against going the other way. First-year player, we know that, but Patrick Cripps, you've got to get defensive side on him. They got tangled up, and then defensively some issues as well.
Yeah, it's good vision, isn't it, seeing the midfielders go back and forth. Yeah, I still would be putting someone on Patrick Cripps, but I'm probably going to stop doing that. Zane True maybe looks like he's gone to him, but it's so damaging when the ball leaves.
15 goals for the season now for Zach Williams. Back in the middle. The kick didn't go 15, so it wouldn't have been paid. Binns was there. Duggan tried to disrupt. Lord went back to win it. Pitnet. Elijah Hollins will send a long ball inside 50. Couldn't find a target. McGovern tried to control it down low. Kemp was in there. Reed could have been held. Spills away. Owies the snap. The bounce. It rolls all the way for the Blues. It curled right home.
West Coast looking for free kicks here, but see a couple. One against McGovern. I don't think that's there. That's just footy. Harley Reid trying to look for one as well. And once again, just clean. Take it first time.
I think that's the point, isn't it? That West Coast are playing for free kicks. That a lot of these instances, maybe they're there, maybe they're not. It's a bit of a 50-50, but Carlton are not worrying about free kicks. They're just going the ball and being cleaner.
I think you're both spot on. You can't take that chance in defence that you might get the free kick.
Well, maybe you can. They're 16th on the ladder, the Eagles. They don't have as much to play for as the Blues do. And the Blues are playing like there's a final spot on the line. Cripps got a toe out of the middle. Hunt back the other way. Sends it long. Darling under it. Young. Worn him like a glove. Got a fist on it. Back against the grain. Handball Elijah Hollins. Didn't find his target. Brother lays the tackle to mop up his mess. Playing in front though, Cowan. Feeds it wide. Binns. Another touch. Elijah Hollins, the spear pass, turns it over. And Kelly takes the saving mark.
Martin stands at 36. Kelly, poor entry up towards the 50. Missed Cripps. Blues with the numbers, but they get themselves in a tangle. Cripps, Darling, long handball. Trying to stand underneath it. Got it away. Did well to get the handball to Duggan on the fly, but the kick was always off target.
Quick hands from Dewar there, and on the left for Duggan. Expect better from the captain.
Yeah. McGovern's been taking on the corridor, and he does it again. Despite having a 35-point margin, they just want to put this one to bed. Cripps had a sneaky chance that'll knock out in the Jimmy direction, but he was quickly hunted down. And everything under pressure at the moment for the Eagles. The Blues are hunting a bigger margin. Akers hunts the ball. Binns. In fact, it was Lord who was taken down. Couldn't get away with it. Hands it to the umpire. Ball flung in the air. Pitnet front spot. Slams it on the boot. Done that a few times. Gets it towards Kemp. Can't mark it. Johnston. Little fumble. There's a Blues fest in there. 3 of them got him. Brought into ground. Ball up. 7 clearances now for Pitnet. 15 disposals. He is winning that battle in the ruck. Convincingly.
Williams this time. He was tackled by Pitnet. Eagles get it away through Duggan. And the run of it. Ollie Hollins played it well. Wiedering attacked it. Spun out of trouble. And just thumps a high ball up to the 50. Cripps in front with strength. Wins a free.
And now he's seeing the mismatch. He's bigger than true. He goes short. Not the 15. Walsh has to play on. Away to Akers. Forward pocket. Got creative. Volleys it up. Top of the square. And over the top, Durden.
There's a push.
West Coast get away with it. A pushing free kick. Durden had taken the mark. Blues unlucky. Eagles have it in the back pocket. And Orr trying to clear it out of defence. Unable to do so. It'll stay as a stoppage inside 50 for Carlton, which is where they've been so dangerous.
Pattern behaviour today for West Coast. Missed kicks and missed handballs. It was on Gaff. Probably not there. Almost maybe an elbow in there. 50-50.
Williams this time against Kennedy, who did well to halve it. Motlop away. Elijah Hollins on the burst. It fades though. Good off the boot, but that wind just carrying it across the face of goal.
So we saw in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this quarter, West Coast were better intent, harder at the contest, and at least getting the ball in their forward half. But Carlton were able to absorb that pressure.
Stewart took off on Chincotta, who did not give up on the contest, and Binns sees it out. That was brilliance from both. First to the mark from Dewar, but Chincotta doing his job as well.
Yeah, it's a great example, Dwayne, of exactly what we were just saying in terms of them staying in the contest, not giving up on plays, staying active, making a turnover, still the ball in their forward half.
For Kennedy, solo in the ruck. Strangely enough, Hunt
They've had his body, a bouncing ball, and Dewar was in the vicinity, so not insufficient intent. It's a massive moment for Michael Voss. Blues lost their last 4 games and fell out of the 8 the last minute, 2022. Last year they finished 3rd, lost their prelim to Brisbane at the Gabba when they kicked the first 5 goals of that game but lost. A spot in the 8 will be theirs tonight if they finish this job right now. Ginby plants his foot into it, gets it inside 50. Little nudge, big nudge. Free kick to Cowan. Umpire looks around and says Darling for a second claims he was the one, but Cowan is the man.
Yeah, they've been hot on that today, the nudge. Got to get there really early to watch this on the replay.
I'm saying he's using his forearm just to hold there. Free kick paid. And the Blues have it at half back. Going to look long. Sitting comfortable with a 36-point lead. Jeremy McGovern in front. Then on the follow, True. Up to Duggan. On to defend. Benz was good with the tackle. Good hands from Gaff. Back to Darling. Again, the tackle pressure came. Newman that time. Able to dislodge the footy. Darling goes back in again. They're just hunting after the footy. They're hungry for the contest, Carlton.
Looks right now that there's one team desperate to make the finals and one team really looking for season's end.
Last home game for West Coast for the season. They're away to the Cats next week.
Should be always a nice trip down to Geelong to finish the year. West Coast getting that a lot. Both sides bringing a lot of pressure to start this second half.
We've got the Saints next week. And by Lord to get it out. Elijah Hollands flicked up the handball. Jim Cotter. Ollie Hollands steps back inside. Goes through the corridor. Found Lord. They run and support. Walsh over the top. Jimmy to lay the tackle. Carroll was good enough to get it forward to Kennedy. And they can break out the back again. And Kemp will take the mark inside 50. Again, breaking tackles. Just able to bust through. And they get an opportunity.
Broken tackles. That is prime there. Time it was Jinby trying to lay a tackle. Couldn't get it done. And the handball comes out.
Kemp only had 2 career goals before today. He's done better than that. He's got 3 in the match. Gone well past his tally as the Blues kick clear.
It's often just the basics in footy, isn't it? And Carlton have been cleaner with the ball in hand. This is a really nice kick. Opens up all avenues to go. But then West Coast have an opportunity. They come forward to defend. Jimby's right there, and then he's not. It's a simple game sometimes, and it makes it really hard to defend when you get that type of look going inside your forward 50.
Yeah, it's this ability here. This handball hits the target. And it's one from one of their young players. Don't miss. They continue to break lines like that. It's the 5th broken tackle for Carlton today. And there's been multiple fumbles and things that have led to more circumstances like that for West Coast. And Brody Kemp, he's having a good day. Not just the win for the Blues. They're getting some form back. Some belief back. Yo, slick. Aren't left it behind. Guess who? Cripps might be involved in another score. Rolls through Kemp. Chance for Motlop to get his moment. Shrugs. Went to Hollands. Elijah puts it into the sky and into the behinds. Just scraped in. But he's been a great pickup over the off-season. He has really added to their weaponry.
14 games for the Suns for that trade. Game number 17 for the Blues this season. Sorry, game number 20 for the Blues this season as get back in to win it again. Kennedy feed it back. High ball from Young. Just a half forward. Carroll was there. Williams won it, gave it away for the Eagles, and up the wing they go. Allen, limited opportunities up forward so far today. Kick really just not much to the advantage at all of West Coast and allows Carlton to lock it up again.
That was poor. It wasn't not only to the advantage, but it was poor off one step. Teammates in trouble when you kick like that, Elliot. You're lucky not to get injured.
Internet strength again. Gets it out to Hewitt. who steps around Jack Williams and is able to drive the ball up to half forward. Cole, good intercept. A little flip as well, for good measure. Pointing Kemp that time.
Plenty of time to change the script for the Eagles yet in this final home game of the year. Wide ball, attacked by Allen did well. Got it to Yo. Scrambles it forward. Ryan's on the hunt for it. Can he get it and go? He gets a half shepherd. He gets a brilliant shepherd from Darling. Cripps, Darling, they all left it behind. Ollie Hollands went and got in and found Newman. And his instant look inside tells you the tale. They want to take it on here, the Blues. He found Hewitt. They want to go. And they do go. The handball chain footy. They don't have the tall guys to kick to. Cripps again takes another one. It's downfield, but it's his ball.
Looks like a throw in back might have been called out, Dwayne. But West Coast were out in this half-forward flank. You had a number of players, including Darling and Ryan and Cripps. And then it's almost just indecision. It's been like that all day as the umpire was right there to call that one.
Internet front spot again. Arms it to the front. Holding Freakus, who you just can't keep the great ones down. And he is one of the great ones, Patrick Cripps.
Disposal number 27. Well, Patrick Cripps towards Pitternet. Cole couldn't get there. Pitternet knocked it on. Yo spins. He was almost out of play. Then the ball looked like it bounced out. Witherden is there. Johnson kept it in. Jack Williams, the outside of the boot up towards Allen. It carried over his head, and Wiedering takes a good intercept. Dangerous ball towards the corridor, but it was good to Ollie Hollands. Short pass, missed Motlop. Chance to retain though. Bins, took it, lost it. Coughed it up toward him. Now West Coast can break. Gaff feeds it forward. Handball that was at the feet of Dewar. And just as they look like they're about to break forward again, the Eagles, just the skill error makes it tough for their teammate.
Yeah, this is on repeat. This is just absolute, turning into a bit of a joke, really. They can't hit a simple handball.
Kicking efficiency only at 40% as well. Yo did well that time to take the footy with him. Ryan sends it in. Darling down there. He was in a wrestle. Cowan. Crowd wanted a free. Ball spills away. Hollands did well. And he gets it across. They can get it out of defence. Continue up to the wing again. Cripps, just a presence. Such a good target. Handball to the advantage of Motlop, who's got support running inside. Newman had the skids on for a second. Time to recover. Cole trying to tackle. Kick goes inside 50, and the one beats the two. And the mark to Owies.
Owies, he's having a good day. It's these small forwards for Carlton that have just continued to mop up and compete. So that's a 2-on-1 contest.
Compete's the word, I think.
Yeah.
Compete. There's been a lack of competition from mostly the men in blue and gold, but the Blues have just shown up to compete all day.
And a good season. 31 goals for the campaign so far. He kicked 8 across his last 5 coming into this one. He adds to his tally. The Blues extend as they look towards locking in that spot in the top 8.
It's energy sapping when there's skill errors and you're turning the ball over, but look at the effort here. It's really nice bit of play there, but some of the efforts from the Eagles players have just been so lackluster today. We talked and highlighted how good Carlton have been. There's a bit of a one arm will get stepped, and then a 2-on-1 here. Just not good enough, frankly. Not at the level, but all hats off to the Blues. They've just been fantastic. They've showed up to play a certain brand of footy, and they've certainly delivered it.
And this is how legends are made. When you think of Patrick Cripps, they've come here. No Curnow, no Mackay, no Sard, no De Koning. Chera's out, Boyd, and this man has taken control. Hands it to Hewitt. They put taggers on him. It hasn't worked. Carroll turns and goes. Plants his foot into it long. McGovern flies. Motlop at the back. Bounces and goals. It's a Blues fest, and they are loving it.
we know this is Patrick Cripps. This is the environment he wants, I think. I think you see the very best out of him when it's not all going their way. And we've known this for a long time. Brownlow Medal says a bit about it, but I think just in big moments he stands up. And as he's got older and more experienced, he just puts the team on his back. So this one goes over the back, carries it. Motlop gets an opportunity, but it's because of Cripps in the middle. And he just goes, boys, this is how we're going to do it. On my back, let's go. Just got a lot of respect for him.
He's been outstanding, and he's a lot like that man. His coach in many ways. When the Brisbane Lions of old have been struggling for a moment, yes, they had multiple players to do it, but in the big moments, Michael Voss did it, and now his skipper, Patrick Cripps, is doing the same.
29 disposals, 7 clearances, 7 inside 50s. Patrick Cripps playing a massive game. And the Blues are powering on. Mark dropped by Edwards. He's taken a few good intercepts today, but means that the Eagles are trapped in their defensive 50. Down to 55 points. Andrew Gaff in his final game. Certainly hoping the team was going to be a bit more competitive, which they have been in recent weeks, but it's dropped away again.
Yeah, they have. And this doesn't say anything about Andrew Gaff's legacy, does it? But you'd like a more competitive effort to send off one of the club greats.
In a scrap, he couldn't take it. Cripps in and under again. 17 contested possessions amongst that 29 for Patrick Cripps. Ball at feet again. Plenty of numbers around. It won't spill free.
George Hewitt's the other one, and Kennedy, who've been very ably assisting the likes of Patrick Cripps and pitting it around the ball and across half forward.
There he goes to number 30. That one just high up and under. Edwards that time takes a nice mark.
Had some good moments today, Scully, down there.
Yeah, he has. I mean, and he's going to be someone that takes the club forward if they're not going to be with Tom Barras next year and onwards.
The wing they go. Spills out. In desperation, Owens was in there. Duggan, ball just dropped out. Reid slips over. Cole had his legs taken out. They'll get the free kick.
Back on Harry Edwards, that's 5 intercept marks for him today. Yeah, he is going to be the future. And you start looking at games like this and you start thinking about the future of the footy club, don't you?
Bit of overlap run. Not 15 there for Reid. Gets it to Cole, who can generate a long inside 50. Darling in front. Oh, punched away by Newman. Strong tackle.
Yeah, lots of reports about Barras.
Harry Edwards has just signed on a new deal.
Okay, so you're saying that that might be a fait accompli.
Silence can be deafening at times as the kick goes out wide. Close to the boundary line. Did that come off the shin? Yeah, out of bounds on the foot. It's going to be a boundary throw.
Just letting the stoppage play out. Oh, look, I think it's well reported. I don't think West Coast expect him to be at the club next year, even though he is contracted. So you start looking at players around the ground and you think, well, who's going to stand up in that spot? Who's going to start playing into the future for this club? Because they don't have a coach for next year either.
Nice bit of French picked up by you, Pav, too, in Paris over the last few weeks as the kick goes forward.
A lot more from
up to half forward as well.
Speaking in French.
After it, Edwards down low again. The Blues threatened to take it away. Kemp couldn't get it through. Duggan turned into trouble and holding the ball.
West Coast have made their sub too, so Jack Williams out and Petruccelli comes on.
Thanks, Kat.
Just tactical.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do need a bit more run in the match, don't they? They haven't had any real ascendancy in around the ball, so maybe a spark there from Petruccelli. You can't deny this Blues team. They've just been sensational, particularly after quarter time.
Made it by 55. Eagles with the first 2. The Blues have just powered on since then. Zach Williams, little set play. Wanted Cripps, who was storming out from full forward. Blues scrap it towards the goal line. Wasn't pretty, but it was almost effective. And they are taken over the line.
Well, Harry was watching the rugby union last night. It's a nice try to send to Harry Edwards. Yeah, Carlton, they're going to have their fate in their own hands, aren't they? That's what this game has done. That's what this performance has done.
Yeah, they came face to face with their worst nightmare in a way, and they stared it down today.
in danger of being in the 8 all year, and now Durden's in the hand of trainers. So keep an eye on that.
Popped out and stayed out, unfortunately. Both shoulders heavily strapped. That does not look good, that left shoulder.
So it's come out a few times before. The quicker they get it back in, the more likely he is to be able to still play a role in the season, if not next week. Off is off. Heads toward half forward. Juggle from Darling didn't work. Mitch McGovern, handball to Young, who's been solid. Been a bit of a whipping boy for Blues fans, Lewis Young, but he's held up one of the defensive posts. Lockie Cowan done likewise, and there is. They very rarely put him back in on the sideline. They normally ask you to come downstairs, but they're working their hardest, the doctors.
Just got tangled up there as Johnson was trying to lay the tackle, and they will head downstairs.
Yeah, it's not comfortable at all, that scenario.
Nasty one. The Durden, the Blues win it back. Anchors on the boot, up the wing. Kennedy couldn't take it. Jeremy McGovern, little flick handball, got it to Jaden Hunt, to Duggan. Just that last kick forward, ill-directed, and again it's intercepted by the Blues defence.
That was perceived pressure that time because of Carlton's hunt and kill this game. And Duggan thought he was under more pressure than he was.
Newman's kick, long one, and Jeremy McGovern takes the mark again. It's been a long time since the two McGovern brothers have played against each other on the field. Haven't done it actually while Mitch has been at the Blues, all the way back to round 23 in 2017 when Mitch was playing for the Crows.
Given they're at either ends of the ground to each other now, they probably, they may never play on each other at all.
It's half a thought that Mitch might have gone forward for this game, given the lack of key forwards the Blues had. It was Kemp who's been going forward to good effect, kicking 3. Might be able to make their sub. Ryan was aware of it and able to just pinch it out of the hands. The Eagles can go inside 50 and find Harley Reid.
Good play from Glenn Ryan, wasn't it? Because he read the cue very well. You could see where that ball was going. He just sat up a little bit and he did well to get there. Big Corky in that second quarter. You can see his left thigh heavily strapped, but then smart play to bring it back inside.
Such a threat. Kicking goals, bursting onto the scene, Harley Reid. He hasn't kicked a goal in his last 8 games. The young star for the Eagles lines them up. And that will continue as he hooks it away. Big power in the kick, but certainly not on target. A little shake of the head.
Big moment for Ashton Moyer on debut, coming on as the sub. He picked 29 in last year's draft for the Blues. Wide ball. Dropped in the breeze. Pitnet's been working hard. Got his knees dirty, he's got his backside dirty. That was out of play. Ashton Moyer took on Clayton Oliver in a trial game earlier this year. And Oliver helped him during that game, gave him some advice during that game as to how to play him, which was nice of Clayton. And there he is about to come on. And Glenelgan SA kicked 30 goals in the under-18s for them last year. Big flyers go up, Allen in the middle of it. Yo threw that away, got away with it. And again, with a big pack around it. And get a ball up. And he's wearing the great, Lord Mayor, Anthony Kutafiti's old 43, Ashton Moyer. He's about to come on.
Great moment for him as Reid stands up in the tackle, got a boot to it. A high ball, tough one to judge. Johnston underneath it, slapped away by Binns. Owies along the boundary line. West Coast asking the question. Boundary throw.
Under a fair bit of pressure there, so fair enough. Carlton continue to get a lot of numbers around these stoppages as well, so they just want to continue to dominate West Coast by weighted numbers.
Clearances by 11, the Blues. Yo, got it out. Kelly, kick smothered. Mitch McGovern in there. Elijah Holland's on the boot. Out towards Kennedy. Nudged underneath it by Witherden. Foot race on. Jaden Hunt there battling with Owies. They dive on top of it. Blues have the extra number and cleaner as they win the ground ball. Binns kick forward. Edwards with a good spike away, and that will end the third term. Carlton continue to power on to keep their September dream alive. At three-quarter time, they lead it by 55 points.
watch.
All right, three-quarter time, and the Blues have got this game well in hand. 11-12, 78 leading the Coasters 3-5, 23. Blue Bag is putting on 5 goals 3 to the Eagles 1 goal 3. The Eagles did look like they started that third quarter with a little bit more intense. It looked like we could have been in for a bit of a show, but that was short-lived. And Carlton just took control of the game again. Everything going the Blue Baggers' way, and they look set for victory in this one. Let's hope the Eagles can come back, show a little bit of fight in the final quarter, put on a little bit of show for the fans in the stadium as they trail by 55 points. Let's have a quick look at the players' stats now. See who's going where. Paddy Cripps, man of the moment. BOG at the moment, 31 touches he's got. He's playing a cracker of a game, a cap. 12 kicks, 19 handballs, 3 marks, 1 tackle, 2 hitouts, 9 clearances. That's a big game. All he needs now is to put a goal on his board and you'll have had a perfect game. Well done, Paddy. George Hewitt, 27. Liam Duggan there for 22 for the West Coast. Harley Reid missing a couple of easy shots there, unfortunately. For the Eagles, Matty Kennedy up to 20. Kelly, 19. Let's roll down the board. Nick Newman, 16. Sam Walsh, 16 for the Blue Baggers. Andy Gaff there's got 17. And McGovern, 17 also for the Coasters. Williams, 10. Chincotta, 11. Zach Williams, just the 9 for the Blue Baggers. Mitch McGovern on 8. Let's keep going down the board. There are the stats for your favourite players there. Up till three-quarter time here at Optus Stadium in Perth. Bailey Williams there, 10 possessions. He's had the 29 hit-outs there, the big man, for the Eagles. And Mark Pinett for the Blues, he's had 18 disposals, 6 kicks, 12 handballs. He's had 27 hit-outs, doing a good job there also. Any changes in the goals? Matty O's and Brody Kemp both with 3 each. For the Blues, doing it well. Jake Waterman still the leading goal kicker for the Eagles with 2. Hasn't done much after quarter time. Like to see him have his opportunity in this last quarter. Matthew Kennedy also 2 for the Blue Baggers. Zach Williams, Motlop, Durden, both all singles for the Blues, while Jamie Cripps, the only other single goal scorer for the Eagles. AFL Fantasy Points, if that's the game you play, 105 for George Hewitt. The only one over the 100 at the moment. Paddy Cripps next best, 87. Duggan 85, Kennedy 83, Reid 82, Pinnett 81 and Newman 80. All the rest under that. Oh, we're only a minute and a half roughly, a little bit more than that. And we'll be back to the game for the final quarter. Whereas the Blue Baggers by 55 points. Just have a quick glance at the team stats while we go. Blue Baggers out now to about 70 possession lead on the game. They've increased those kicks by about 30. As I said, the Eagles did come out with a little bit better intent, but that vanished quickly, unfortunately. Efficiency inside 50 for the Eagles, well down compared to the Blues. Free kicks, 15 to 11 to the Blues. 4 up there. The centre clearances, Blues dominating there, 9 to 4 as well. All right, folks, let me just roll this back up. I will take you back down to the ground where the commentators will take us into the final quarter. The Blue Baggers on their way to the finals. Can the Eagles show a little bit of grit for their fans?
Involvements. Matthew Pavlich, Will Schofield, can't fault the Carlton captain today.
Well, I'm not sure we can do anything more than just applaud his enormous effort to three-quarter time. That's pretty handy stats still for 4 times. Going 30 touches, 19 contested, 9 clearances, 11 score involvements.
But it's been more than that because he, right from the word go, was the one that set the tone about his effort and being more desperate than his West Coast opponents. And you know what? Sometimes your players just falling behind you if you start that way, and he's just been brilliant.
I can guarantee you won't be thinking about Brownlow votes. This is the sort of captain and leader that knows what's on the line for his football club. And he came from minute one knowing that all he wanted here was a win. They needed the 4 points to... it's almost a keep the season alive game, and it's turned it in their favour now that, right, they're going to go to finals and have that in their own control, but off the back of him. It's not about individual accolades at all. I don't think it ever has been, to be honest, by watching him play. What he's been able to do today is just been so impressive. They cannot stop him, right? It doesn't matter if they put players on him or where he plays. It's been so good to watch.
Not sure he can feel the love, but I hope he is feeling the love from the lounge rooms at home. Another possession. Walsh thumps it. Good mark going back with the flight though by Kelly. And they wallpaper over some cracks in this last quarter. The Eagles and send their superstar Andrew Gaff off in some style with a big last quarter fight back. Witherden off. Held up. Got the handball option if he wants it. Hunt. He looks around. He's got the long bomb. Sets it in the air. And Allen's been paid that. Caught a fingertip or two. But you've got to take it when you can get it.
It looked like Jacob Wiedering had the first bunch of that, and he might think that as well. Oscar Allen did whatever he good forward does and claimed the mark.
Yeah, claim it straight away.
Let's watch this.
Seen them paid plenty of times over the years.
Clearly hit hands.
Yeah, but we all agree that was kind of in the marking process, and you do have to pay him. Oscar Allen. It's kind of in the tail of the Eagles' day. They kicked the first 2 goals of this game, and the Blues have kicked 11 of the last 12.
They've been in good goal-kicking form. Oscar Allen started the season a little shakily with his set shot kicking. Found it back again in recent weeks. Scrap for the footy. See another debutant for the Blues. Moyer into the action. Durden subbed out with that shoulder injury.
Yeah, saw him got presented by the great Glenelg and Carlton champion Stephen Kernahan before the match. Nice little touch for the Blues, connecting the Glenelg connection.
Long kick goes in. Pack up in front. Pitternet couldn't drag in the mark. Waterman's in and under. Kelly trying to wrench it out of there, but we'll get a ball up. Riley Williams with the early jump. Spills out Allen. One-handed pickup. Up Darling. Handball wide. It's it to Kelly. Now away to Yo. High ball. Back in towards the hot spot. A lot of bodies clashing. It spills. Waterman and Duggan able to find some room, and off the right boot snaps a goal and misses.
Liked Glenn Duggan's move into the midfield more permanently as the season's gone on. Certainly under Jared Schofield, we've seen that. A lot of footy as a backman, and I know he's been evolving, but it feels like he's been a real out-and-out midfielder. Back into this.
He's got the tank, no doubt, to play that role, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Young and Newman just whacking possessions for a second. Now the long blast in the pit net direction. Got there to compete, knocked it to ground. Yo went and got it. Akers went and got him, dispossessed. Elijah Hollins loops it out to guess who? P. Cripps, 3 votes. Hands it over to Walsh. Dainty little kick towards half forward, off hands. Knocked out of Kemp, who's been brilliant as a forward. Akers loops it back. Walsh has found some form again, but doesn't find a teammate. And Gaff takes the mark to another round of applause. And game 280 is last.
One more disposals for the West Coast Eagles than any other player in their club's history. Andrew Gaff. 700 disposals or more in a season 3 times. Extremely consistent across his career. Actually 4 of the top 6 best disposal seasons in West Coast club history. As it goes out wide. Waterman will cruise around. Real wobbling, floating ball up to the 50. The delivery's been poor. Turning into trouble, the Blues. Good tackle by Dewar. Young, though, into Carroll.
That was good between McGovern and Wiedering then. Exactly where each other was. McGovern playing in front.
Goes up to the wing, and again, strong hands from the young man on debut. Enjoy that. Good grab. Boy up with his first touch of the footy. Elijah Hollins goes with a high ball into the corridor. Cripps trying to get there. Good take by Newman. Lowers the vision. Kicks up inside 50. And always can take the mark.
So that's mark 13 inside 50 today. It's the most marks inside 50 for Carlton over the past 4 weeks. So that's without the likes of Curnow, Mackay and Co. So it's more about method and system. Yes, the opposition plays a part, but method and system today has been better from the Blues.
Louise will go in short into the pocket, and there he is. Moyer taking the mark. He's fed the footy, and he goes back for the set shot. A big moment here for the young Blue.
They wanted the stat to keep
Number
going
14.
there. That's
Number
right. 14 marks inside 50. But I hope this is about a young fella kicking his first goal as well.
Oh, a little wink of the eye. I like that as well. Was it one of the defenders? Maybe Young went over to him and just settled him down. I like that.
Christian Moyer, 29 in 2023. The family watching on as he leans back on the kick. He just couldn't quite get it through. The family riding it, throwing the hands up. He had his opportunity.
Just got a little bit close to the man of the mark. I think that was the issue there, but he's going to get more opportunities.
Yeah, it depends on who's on the way back, but that's the hard part at the moment. For the Blues, they have played a brilliant brand. There he is again, Moyer. To Cripps again. Lifts it wide. Akers. It didn't look like a handball from here. Didn't look like one from there. And Yo, not happy. Lets him know about it. Got a bit of anger in him, even though they're 54 down. Wants to win the little battles within the big ones. Heads out wide. And turns it over. So footy gods weren't with him there. Pitnet, who's been superb. There was a lot of time this year where he didn't think he was going to be the main ruck or even in this 23 at all, and in how he's going to have to be the main man. Witherden gets there. Runs to the boundary, keeps it alive. It's high, it's a bomb. Wiedering, Darling caught one to the ear. And Darling will get the free kick.
The rain started to fall, so the remainder of this match could be a bit of a scrap.
Might keep with the theme, I think, Kath, the way it's been so far throughout the afternoon. As Witherden is going to send the ball along inside 50. Waterman is there, but a terrific mark. Taken by Elijah Hollins back there in defence.
They've only had 34 inside 50s against them, the Blues, so it's been about team defence all over the field and actually restricting the supply of the Eagles. But when it's gone down there, it hasn't been, and it ends up out the full. I think it hasn't actually been easy. The Blues defenders have played very well.
Out of bounds on the full, so footy will go back to West Coast. Petruccelli sucked into the game for Jack Williams. He'll send a high ball inside 50. Wiedering's camped underneath it though. No contest at the end for the Eagles forwards, and Wiedering able to take the intercept.
Well, there should be a contest because they've got the tall forwards down there, West Coast. That's 5 intercept marks to Jacob Wiedering. He's one of the best fullbacks in the business though, so we expect nothing less.
He's been good, hasn't he, Wiedering? He's had to, given all the outs and the fact they've got Allen, Waterman, Darling down there as a threat aerially. They've handled that pretty easily, the Blues.
Collins goes through the middle. Jimby over the top, needed to spoil because the blue in front was Kennedy, who claimed the mark. They can roll through the corridor again with some run and dash as Elijah Hollins sends it long. Edwards in front. Owies out the back, just dribbles it through. Zach Williams under the pump. Darling's all the way back there. And it goes through for a behind. And so the treasure at the end, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for the Blues is the 4 points that they will secure and see their spot into the top 8 with a game to play. They load up again, and it's Binns in his second game. He wants to join in the party. They are dominating Carlton and jumping for joy. The first goal of his career. His teammates get right around him. Extends it out to 61 points, and you can just see how much they're enjoying their footy this afternoon.
Ollie Hollands has been good today, and again, clean, breaks a tackle. Well, this is great to see, isn't it? It's been a big win for Carlton, of course, but just seeing his teammates go to him and get around him, kick a goal on 50. Thinking about AFL growing up, that's probably how you do it, isn't it? Just knocking one over from 50 metres, giving it to the crowd. That is exactly how you write it up as a kid growing up before you play AFL. Brilliant stuff.
Jumper worn by Fev. Alex Jezelenko came on as a sub in the last quarter when he made his debut in round 7, one kick, one handball. And look at that percentage. So Hawthorn has demolished Richmond today, but Carlton, with this percentage win, might climb another spot. Harley Reid bursts out of the middle. The don't argue, the long drive. And he is a joy to watch. He is the real thing, Harley Reid. Not just don't argues, but here's your coat, don't come back. Love watching him play and generating momentum out of the middle. Akers gets it on the wing. Darling off the scramble. Free kick Blues. I'm taking it half back.
It does look great when Harley flashes like that and gets the momentum, but I can tell there was a few forwards not happy with the ping from 65 metres.
Akers through the middle.
Never happened.
Everyone watching on was excited to see what Harley Reid could do. Out of defence, rolling in the wrong direction was Carroll, but he kept his composure. Out to Akers. 60 points, the lead for the Blues. As I mentioned, they'd love to keep powering on and just keep that percentage going. Kath. Two in a moment as the footy is with the Blues. Motlop run down from behind and holding the ball to call. West Coast want to take the advantage and take it quickly. It goes out wide, foot races on. Dewar's there. Binns up for the fight, up for the contest. Did exceptionally well.
That's the epitome of the game, Kath.
Yeah, Zach Williams heading down into the change rooms, just grabbing at his lower back there.
I saw him have a contest in late in that third quarter, so maybe he's got an issue. Obviously got an issue that the doc and the physio are going to have a look at, but that chase and the ability to halve that contest from Binns is exactly what the Blues have been up for. The battle all day.
Metering on the boot. Darling over his head. Didn't judge it well at all as it goes towards the line. Cole sees it over.
Brody Kempert snuck on from the bench as we were chatting through that play. I was watching him. He was going down the high behind the point post. He was loose out the back, so if Carlton had to figure their way through that, they may have had a walking goal.
He's learned the craft already.
Yeah. He would have been good.
Taking him 3 quarters, but he's learned.
Taking some defender type tactics and employing them in the forward line. Brody Kemp, his kick goes forward. He's playing in front here. Had to find some targets inside 50. Kemp's kicked the 3 goals. Boy's down there. Spills to feet. Motlop over the top. Owies waited to accept the contact. Lost the footy and we got a ball up.
Tried to fight hard West Coast, but this Carlton onslaught has just been too much from very early on in this one.
Cripps trying to do it all himself. And then a clever goal! How about that for your debut? Ashton Moyer with something spectacular.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Perhaps you called it so beautifully. I thought he might be a chance for another. It just he's likely, hasn't he, when he's come on. Let's have a look where he starts from. So he's right on the goal square there. Patrick Cripps again, and then whoosh. That is clever. We heard Michael Voss talk about him saying he's classy, he's got a bit of X factor about him. Well, there it is on display.
That is an incredible goal.
Just instinct. And look at the blue players get around him. They loved it.
Good to hear so much love in the house for it as well. Even the Eagles fans enjoyed that. The family enjoyed it. Picked 29 in last year's draft. And he looks like he does have a little bit of X factor. And it looks like the Blues have got some form back. Might have some selection issues next week. Hewitt squeezed it to half forward. Harley Reid, nice collect on the run. Kicked the bullet to the middle. Tough one to collect. Hunt tried to mop the mess up. Jinby back to Harley. Shrug off, little bounce. Sees Moy coming at him. Hands it over. Edwards. Gaff. Off. Ryan.
Zach Williams has just emerged from the change room, still holding at his lower back, but you imagine with a 66-point lead, they probably won't risk it and wrap him in cotton wool.
Can't afford too many more injuries, can they? The Blues, hopefully Williams is okay as Petruccelli pounces and gets a rare goal for the Eagles on a tough afternoon.
Jack Petruccelli back into the side this week as the sub. He's come off relatively early in sub terms. Watching move through the contest here. Big tackle from Liam Duggan and pounces on it. He's a really interesting, I would say, discussion for West Coast. Jack Petruccelli.
Just going to ask you the same question. Where does he sit, do you think, at the end of the season and list and how they manage that? We'll get to that, I'm sure, as this last quarter continues.
Yeah, I think we've got the best footy I've seen Jack play is in and out through the midfield, but hasn't been able to consistently lock that spot down. So see him starting in the midfield here. I think he's got the attributes to do that, but hasn't consistently been able to.
Missed the game with suspension, but forced to come back through the waffle to earn his way back. It might depend on who's the coach as to what the list looks like as well. Always helps if the coach likes you. Reid, little shrug off, delightful. And the look away to Yo, magnificent. Heads to the goal square. Ryan down there. Chincotta, little palm. Allen, nice knock on. Waterman. And that'll be a free, you'd think, to Ryan. Young pleads his case, but there was a loud noise of affirmation. Hasn't been a huge afternoon for Liam Ryan. It's a bit quiet last week until he sparked in the last quarter. There's a little laugh about it. This well within his repertoire. A little casual on it and kicks it out on the full. Blues ball, half back, chance to add some percentage or not concede any score to make sure they maintain their percentage. They've got St Kilda next week, but as we saw yesterday, they're no easy beats right now.
Great win over the Cats by the Saints. That's a terrific mark. Kemp, now the target, leading up the ground.
Well, if he's not careful, he might find himself the permanent forward. He's been very good. Dangerous all day, and he's competed well.
Who's sending back, Charlie or Harry?
What a half forward. And then they go again. Jeremy McGovern trying to rip it out of there. Yo.
Just go back to that discussion about some of these Eagles players, Scully. So you talk, yes, of course, the coach is going to have a big say on some of these players, but there's a lot around the midfield, half back, half forward, whether it's Zane True, Alex Witherden, Petruccelli, a number of these types of players, and a number that are obviously playing waffle footy. I'm sure futures and decisions are going to be a big off-season for the Eagles.
Go to Bailey Williams. Scrums a kick forward. Clean pick up Petruccelli. Tackled by Hollins and called a throw. And then Reid was taken high after the whistle had gone. Didn't like the treatment from Newman. And he'll come crashing in. Cowan in there as well. Haven't seen too much fight from West Coast this afternoon at times. See a little bit there.
Well, yeah, you need to put it in the right spot, so don't you? That's not where you want to do it.
Walsh has it. Look at that throw again from Petruccelli as it goes inside 50 from the Blues. Jinby away. Motlop able to step through a tackle. High ball. Hewitt into the hot spot. Plenty camped underneath it. Motlop crashes through again. He went straight through Duggan. Tried to feed it off again. Lord was shoved off the footy. And a dump kick out of defence by Cole. Wiedering just had the size there opposed to Ryan. Now to Newman. Blues back to half forward. Good courage from Johnston. Went back with a flight, put himself in harm's way, and goes across to Gaff.
That'll endear himself to either this coach, Jared Schofield, or the new coach. He's got a big upside. Harvey Johnston. Wide ball to Ryan. Knew what he wanted to do as soon as it was in his direction. Heads toward Allen. Not quite. Goes again. Young shut him down. Been brilliant, Lewis Young.
Not great news from Carlton's bench. It's a hamstring for Zach Williams, so that's another injury concern for them.
So let's have a look.
See, elbow and a head drag to Harley Reid there.
Is there a bit of contact to the face there? As the headband came off as well.
Not enough for mine.
It goes out to half-back. That news about Zach Williams, so that's a real blow for the Blues. He's had so many injuries across the journey. Again, any injuries on the eve of finals when you're already battling with so many players out. Ball goes in. Ryan! Terrific mark. Great contested grab. Get a chance to have the snap from the forward pocket. Bit of the footy today, Liam Ryan. This snap, the opposite pocket. His near side again looked pretty casual taking the snap. And it is through for a behind.
He's certainly one player that there's been trade rumours around. Jake Waterman, Tom Barris, another one of those. You're really looking at anyone with any sort of trade quantity and quality, to be honest. These names have been thrown about. I don't think too many has too much action.
Disappointment there on the face of Zach Williams.
Yeah, that picture painted 1,000 words. So Zach Williams, so Williams and Durden now in doubt for next week on top of the enormous injury list. They've already got the Blues, but they'll be in the 8 tonight, so bittersweet. With one game to play, one round to go. This is the final game of round 23. Akers got there in time, scoops it inside. Chin got a nice roll, got it back out again. Newman pumped as he kicked it. It's downfield. So they have shown some aggression at times, the Eagles, but some of it has been a little misplaced, perhaps.
Bit of mixed messaging from the Carlton camp. They've now just said, sorry, Zach is cramping. So I'm not sure if it's hamstring or cramp, but that's probably just something we're going to have to find out post-game.
Well, you set us up beautifully, Kath. I like that news. In reply, Cowan heads inside 50. Kennedy floats in. Owies went and got it. Back to Kennedy. Bins. Top of the square. Numbers there. Gaff goes back. Didn't kill it. Witherden does. Toes it through. So that is good news if that's all it is, because they can't afford to lose anyone else.
No, they can't, because they've got a final series to prepare for.
Kicky and Ryan stretching to try to get there. Couldn't complete the mark. Bins with the handball back in. Ryan scooting across the turf, trying to do too much. Not holding the ball. No whistle. Blues still a chance. Lots of numbers. Walsh to Hollins. Bins back to Ollie Hollins. And the kick goes inside 50. Kemp! Oh, he is a full forward.
How good's this? And this has been inspired, hasn't it, from some of the Blues? The tackle pressure, firstly, to win the ball back. Not just hunting in numbers, and then it allows your forwards to do this. Oh, look at that. It's a nice leap at the ball. He does it down the other end. Why can't he do it down up forward? It's going.
He can. We just saw it.
They're in need of a key forward. They needed a man for the moment as they fight for their season. And Kemp stood up, has delivered, and he's enjoying it. He's kicked 4.
Oh, well done. It's a great leap and a great mark. It's a nice bit of body work. It's actually good forward craft, but where it came from, and this is what we've talked about all day. So coming into this match, Carlton, all their stars are out effectively, except for Patrick Cripps, of course, and one or two other important members, but I've just stripped it all back to effort and roll, and a lot of their half forwards have just hunted in numbers. They've laid 71 tackles, will be more desperate around the ball, and allows your forwards to have shots at goal.
So what do you make of it with marks inside 50, given how many they've taken without Curnow, without Mackay, without De Koning? And yet it's worked for them.
I think partly to do with the opposition they're playing against, frankly, but it also has been system, Dwayne, in terms of the way they've been able to use some forward handballs, get the ball in space, and then actually pass the ball in rather than just bombing it in.
Harley Reid, will he try and pass this in? He has a bounce, barks some instructions, gave it to Gaff. He read the script there. He turns and goes, stumps it to the goal square. Ryan! Got up high, just didn't bring it down. Benz thumps it out wide. Almost to the boundary, out of play. Kept alive by Cripps. Takes on Chincotta. There's the effort. And it's saved a goal. And who knows what that's going to be for percentage. Saving the little things. Nice leap from Flying Ryan.
Might not have left with the 4 points, but he might have driven home a car if he had landed that one.
The cash might have been jumping into the bank account had he been able to hold on to that one. Liam Ryan.
It's increased significantly this year, hasn't it, perhaps?
It has. He was at Cananui. He got a new supply of cereal back in the day when he got Mark of the Year. Still a bit unhappy about it. Ryan almost taking the spectacular. 2 minutes to go. Blues on track for another big win over West Coast. Bailey Williams in there, Gaff in the last few minutes of his AFL career. And that's important here, Cripps. Against Chincotta, he wants another goal at his milestone. Yo taking them on, trying to feed it back through. Blues just not giving an inch, right to the very last second. Collins back, Coward, anywhere but here. Just a high ball, they converge on it. Yo, front and centre. Harley Reid on the boot, but not enough on it. Hair in the eyes a bit after losing the headband earlier.
Just to highlight some of the things we've been saying, so contested possession plus 30 for the Blues today. Ground ball plus 22. Their clearance plus 10. It's just been a dominant display in terms of work ethic.
Well, Cowan kicked it out. Eligible for a Rising Star nomination, Lockie Cowan. The Blues haven't had one this year. Ball falls to the hands of Cooper Lord. Kelly floats it wide, and it's too wide for everyone bar the boundary umpire. But this has been a brilliant victory by the Blues. 65 points to margin right now. An inspirational season-saving win. And Michael Voss should have a smile. He has coached this victory brilliantly with the makeshift forward line he's had.
And ball up the wing. And ball forward. Jaden Hunt to Ryan, bumped off it and out of bounds on the full.
Looks exhausted. Liam Ryan got a bit corky from Patrick Cripps earlier in the game. He continued to try pretty hard. Liam Ryan. That Patrick Cripps.
Fitnet's been huge.
Really best on the ground.
So has Hewitt.
I really like Ollie Hollands this game as well. He's fourth on the list there.
Hasn't had to do much in the last quarter either. Patrick Cripps picked up so many stats and had such an impact early on as Reid lays a heavy tackle. Just 30 seconds remaining. Carroll slipping over, boundary line looming. Kept in play. Jaden Hunt run down. Well done. Terrific tackle by Newman. And again, it's been right from the start. The Blues have brought that sort of pressure and intensity. On their last three against West Coast by an average of 80 points. They've kicked some big scores. The Eagles not doing their crosstown rivals Freo any favours this afternoon. But it's the Blues who believe the September dream is still alive. They produce a magnificent performance in the West, led by Paddy Cripps, to win by 65 points.
We are the Baby Blues. We are the old Baby Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team on Carlton Road. We're all champions. They like to send up. We'll keep our end up. And they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
The Blues get the win. Injury depleted side manufactured a win. The brothers with a hug and an embrace. Younger brother gets the points today as we get down to Catholic.
Patrick Cripps, mission accomplished. How did you pull that off, considering all your injuries?
Yeah, I went a lot of belief. It's sometimes, the external focus on what we don't have. We had a really clear mission on what we do have, and there's a lot of excitement in that forward line this week. We had a different look. But sometimes when you have a loss like last week, just realigns you with your identity and what you value. And it was just a little, I suppose, line in the sand moment of what we value, and that's the contest and the pressure. And for all the boys' pressure all day, to keep the team to 34. We knew it was going to be an arm wrestle. Probably didn't think we'd kick 99 points, but we'll take it. But I'm just so proud of the boys, and everyone played their role in that.
How much did you enjoy those last couple of minutes watching alongside Bossy on the bench, seeing Brody Kemp line up for goal number 4, and just realising what you've been able to achieve today?
Yeah, it was great. It's nice. It's just nice to win. It's nice to have the game done in the last few minutes, and we're just joking on the bench that we're hearing about that mark in the spar all week with Kempy. So he played a great role. He went to the government today. I thought he did a fantastic job, and that's what we need. We don't need guys to do anything special. We just play their role, and he was huge. Matty Kenny had a big role, and thought the forwards' ability just to bring the ball to ground and allow us to put pressure on was a big factor in why we won the game.
So where does this rank in terms of gutsy home and away victories that you've been a part of?
Oh, it's pretty special. Like the Eagles have been playing some bloody good footy, obviously playing 2 wins, so we knew it was going to be an arm wrestle. But like I said before, sometimes with your back's against the wall, you go away together is the best thing for you, and you really use it as a mission and value the right stuff, and we did that. And as frustrating the last sort of 5 to 6 weeks was, we're right in this season. I think we're in the 8 again now, so we've got 1 week to go, and a lot of guys that weren't out there today are working really hard to get back, and we've got one more job to do against the St Kilda, then we get that done and hopefully get a few boys back. So we know it's going to be a really cracking battle next week.
How much confidence and belief does this give this group, though, that you're now in the 8 and you're going to stay there?
Oh, a lot. We know our best footy stacks up, and sometimes you have a result like last week, it really realigns with what you value, and you'd rather not have those games, but it happened, and the Hawks are too good for us last week. But the way we played today, that stands up in big games and finals.
Well, enjoy this in front of your family and friends back home. Well done.
Thanks.
What a magnificent win for the Blues. They needed a win to get themselves into the 8. They were undermanned, half the team is missing, no forward line. Not only did they go over there and get the win, they turned it into a percentage booster. All of a sudden, the Blues are right back into the finals equation. A big win for them. Paddy Cripps starring as he always does. And that...
All right, there we go. Percentage booster, that is right. That's what Carlton did. 14, 15, 99. Big winners over the Eagles, 4-10, 34. The Blue Baggers. They're in the 8. They're in the 8 for all you Blue Bag supporters. Finally in the 8. Can they do it? 1 more week to go. And I think they've got to topple next week St Kilda. They beat St Kilda. They are playing finals. They are playing finals. Let's have a look at the ladder right now. Let's see if it's uploaded. It's not uploaded yet. All right, just before we have a look at the live ladder and see where they sit, let's just have a look at the player stats and who was the leader out there today. Of course, it was the Blue Baggers. 2 boys, George Hewitt, Paddy Cripps, both with 35 touches apiece. The only 2 to reach 30 for today, instrumental in their win. Paddy Cripps was just a star on the game today, as he always is. Yo was the next best for the Eagles, 28, with Reid 26. Reid had a bit of his angry pills on there. He tried hard, couldn't quite get it done though. Nick Newman 25, Hollands 25, Andy Gaff 25. And we will roll down. Sam Walsh, 23 there for the Blues. Not too bad. 10 kicks, 13 handballs, 5 marks, 6 tackles, 5 clearances. A good job by him today. Jeremy McGovern, 19 there for the Eagles. Liam Ryan, 18. A couple of shots on goal, couldn't quite get them. Wiedering, not too bad for the Blues, in 15. And although the Blues had a lot of their players out today, they actually looked quite good. They looked nice and free up forward instead of always just shooting for the 2 targets, Mackay and Curnow. So that was good. I think the Blues actually play best when there's only one of the big men up forward. Sometimes I think they can actually get a little bit confused and they get in the way of each other. as we can just go back and have a look at the outs that Carlton had today. Sard, Mackay, Martin, Fogarty, Charlie Curnow, Boyd. They were big outs there for the Blue Baggers today. The goal scorers for today, Brody Kemp leads the way with 4. Matthew Owies with 3 there for the Blues, so they had a good day out. Jake Waterman remained on 2 after the first quarter. Matthew Kennedy with 2, and then singles to Zach Williams, Petrelli, Motlop, Moyer, Durden, Cripps, and Binns. For those who are playing the AFL Fantasy Point game, let's have a look who was leading there. George Hewitt on top with 136 in the AFL Fantasy Points. Nick Newman, next best, 119. Yeo, 108. Hollins, 105. Duggan, 102. Hollins and Paddy Cripps on 100. The rest under that. Let's have a quick look at the team stats now. And we should see Carlton dominate most of these stats as they do there. What's that? 87, 80, about 90. There we go. 89 disposals. They won that by the Blue Baggers, and of course had about 44 more kicks and about 45 more handball. Inside 50, well, 44 to 52. The Eagles had plenty of chances, and as we can just have a look again, 14 scoring shots. The Eagles had inside 50 for their 44, and of course the Blue Baggers inside 52 times for 29 scoring shots. So they did really well. Their efficiency inside 50, 53.8, up on their season's average. They did well there. Both disposal efficiency, not too bad, just under season's average for both at 68 and 70. Free kicks, not too much difference there, 16 to 19. The hit-outs, the Eagles win that by 5, but the clearances, the Blue Baggers on top there by 10, as with the centre clearances by 5 in that department. Stoppage clearances by 5 also. Possessions contested, Carlton harder at the ball, and the uncontested possessions, they found that space a little bit more. They're by 61 odd uncontested possessions for them. Turnovers, both pretty even there, 73-68. Blue Baggers in possession of the ball most of the match there. Of course, the marks pretty even, 82-87. Inside 50 marks, 6 to 15. Blue Baggers well on top there. Of course, the Eagles didn't make most of their opportunities with their 6 inside 50 marks. Contested marks 10 to 11. Their defensive tackles 73 each, all come out on tied there. Their tackles inside 50, both teams doing extremely well there, 17 and 20. Blue Baggers by 3 there. The 1%ers 33-42. Let's go and have a look and see if this ladder has updated. Let me reload this, see if it's updated. And there it is, it's updated. And now for all you happy Carlton supporters out there, you'll see Carlton now sitting 8th on the ladder, half a game clear of Fremantle, a game clear of the Magpies. But the important thing is for Carlton, they've got the percentage over the Magpies, so there's probably no danger there. The only danger is Fremantle, whether they can take that spot. But everything lays in the hands of Carlton if they can get it done next week. Of course, Hawthorn had a big win today. The Western Bulldogs, with that loss to Brisbane, kept them in the mix for the top 4. So we've got a few teams there still can make the top 4. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. So if Geelong win, if Geelong lose, Brisbane lose, and Western Bulldogs lose, wow, Hawthorn can go on the top 4. Could you imagine? Even Carlton could go on the top 4 if things go their way. But they're on top. They're at least now they're in the top 8. So let's have a little bit of a look at next week. The games next week, folks, that is the end of this round. Round 23, we've got one more round of the home and away season. And of course, next Friday night, we've got the big match of the Magpies taking on Melbourne at the MCG next Friday night. That's going to be a cracker. As I said, I don't think either of those teams can make the finals, but nonetheless, that's going to be a great game to watch. Of course, on Saturday, we've got Geelong taking on the West Coast Eagles at GMHBA Stadium down there in Geelong, along with Richmond taking on the Suns. No real involvement there in the top 8. But the next game, we have Hawthorn and North Melbourne. I think Hawthorn will win that quite easily and might get another big percentage booster. So they're a danger to the other teams. If the other teams happen to fail Brisbane, well, they should do away with Essendon. They're playing the Bombers up there at the Gabba, so it should be a victory to them. Sydney, well, they played the Adelaide Crows at the SCG. We know what Sydney's form's been like, not very good. So that could be anyone's game. And probably the match of the round is the Western Bulldogs, who's sitting in 6th, taking on the Giants, sitting in 3rd, and playing that at Mars Stadium at Ballarat. Can you imagine? Wow-wee. Wow-wee. That could really shape the top 4. After that, we've got all you Blue Baggers. You're taking on St Kilda next Sunday at Marvel Stadium. That should be a fantastic game. St Kilda had a good win over the weekend, as did Carlton. Of course, St Kilda, they like disrupting the top 8. Of course, Carlton, they need to win that to secure their position and quite possibly get a home final for the first week if they can finish 5th or 6th. And for the last game of the round next week is going to be another crackerjack game. That's the Dockers. We're sitting 9th, taking on Port Adelaide at Optus Stadium in Perth. That's going to be a really tough game. One the Dockers need to win. As we see, the Dockers are here in 9th, a half a game outside of the 8. Can the Bulldogs win? Can Hawthorn win? Can Carlton win? If one of those teams lose, Freo have their chance to make it into the top 8. So next week you would not be wanting to lose this game if you're one of those 3 teams. And for a chance to get knocked out of the 8 with just in the final round. But there we go, folks. That is it. That is another week of football. Australian rules football, that is, comes to an end. A little bit disappointing result in a spectacle, as we say. We always like the close games, but just way too good were Carlton. They looked a pretty good unit outfit out there today. Everything went their way. And of course, Paddy Cripps leading the way for the Blues. Way too good today. So here at Optus Stadium, it was Carlton, the victors, 14-15-99 over the Eagles, 4-10-34. 65-point winners. Well done, Blue Baggers. I think the Eagles will be happy to see the final siren next week. Take a break and then come back and reset for next season. But it's all ahead for the Blue Baggers. Can they do it this year? Time will tell, folks. Time will tell. All right, folks, that's all I've got. But just before we go, we had a poll today. And of course, we had 60 votes in the poll who's going to win today's game. And surprisingly enough, we had West Coast as 51% of the vote and Carlton at 48% of the vote. The other 1% always goes missing. It was a little bit strange to actually see West Coast going in as favourites in this game, especially that Carlton had everything on the line to win. But there we go. The Eagles 51%, Carlton 48%. It was pretty close, but the end result was a big, big margin, and it was all Carlton. Let's see if we can hear a little bit of the Carlton song before we end.
We're the only team of Carlton. We're the whole champions. Let's send our style, keep our hands up. Oh, that they've been playing. It's the famous old dark blue.
All right, folks, that was it. That's me over and out. Ciao for now. We'll see you in the next live football game. That'll be next Friday night, where Melbourne take on the mighty Magpies. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. We'll see you next time.